then you owe us nothing, not even our costs. I'm Spencer Callahan. I'd like to help.
Spencer Callahan is the one to see. Call 387-2323.
LA 21 12670. Offices in Baton Rouge.
WNXX, Jackson, KNXX, Donaldsonville, and WDGL HD2 Baton Rouge. This hour brought to you by Spencer Callahan Injury Lawyers. LA 21 12681. Offices in Baton Rouge.
Good morning, everybody. It is 7 a.m. on Wednesday, June 14th. Today in Baton Rouge, expect sunny skies with a high of 95. Coming up on OTB, former Saints linebacker Scott Shanley joins the show at 9 a.m. You can follow today's show on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok at OTB_ESPN, or catch us on YouTube at the 1045 ESPN channel and subscribe for daily content. Hour number one of Off the Bench, live from the Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge studio, starts now.
Let we go! All-Star Toyota presents Off the Bench with Jacob Hester and T-Bob Hebert. Yeah! Off the Bench with Hester and T-Bob.
Hey, they said I gotta come off the bench.
All-Star Toyota presents Off the Bench with Hester and T-Bob. Yo, yo, yo.
What's happening, everyone? Welcome into OTB. That's right, it's Wednesday, June 14th, 2023. Month of June rolling right along, boys, and another day closer to Omaha. We have the whole squad here, T-Bob, Jake, Mario, and Taylor hanging out with you this morning. We'll continue to kind of talk a little bit of Omaha. We got a lot of college football in the docket today, which I'm looking forward to as well. We got a bit of game show news, and, we'll talk some Saints as mandatory minicamp began yesterday, which means some faces that maybe weren't there previously have now arrived back on Airline Drive. What's up, fellas? How we feeling on this Wednesday, June 14th? What up, dude?
AC's on today, so much better than yesterday.
Yeah, it's cold, man. Up in here all of a sudden again. I love that shirt, Jake. If you're listening on the radio, Jake has a badass Honey Badger shirt on today.
Give the credit. Legends Vault.
Okay. Shout out Legends Vault.
That's where I got it from.
Hopefully, Tyron actually gets a portion of these proceeds, unlike in the past when he was playing where everybody just sold Honey Badger stuff and he got nothing from it.
I would assume he does now.
Yeah, I think so too.
It feels like his likeness for sure. Says Honey Badger, so. You know.
Well, actually, that's something I want to talk about a bit later. Probably that'll be in hour number 3, Jake. But I thought long and hard yesterday about college football and other things and NIL, and there's all this federal legislation talk floating throughout the air, and I think I owe Mark Emmert an apology, which is something I don't think I was ever going to arrive at. I think Mark Emmert was right. I think Mark Emmert actually handled all of this perfect in terms of ushering the NCAA into the NIL age, and if you think that sounds really stupid and absurd, I'm with you. I have so much audio out there of me crapping on Emmert and demanding action and what a pathetic leadership job he did, and look at me now. Look at me now, crawling back, hat in hand, saying, you know what, actually, Mark, I was wrong. But I don't want to get into that now. We can get into that a bit later on. I'm guessing, though, judging by your face, that sounds weird.
No, actually, I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah, that
I'm
sounds
not sure
weird
which
to
angle
say, though,
you're going.
right? Yeah, I know. But we'll see. We'll get there when we get there. First, I want to talk a little Omaha as the Tigers set to take on those down and dirty dress-up playing Volunteers late Saturday night. Look, we all know Saturday night belongs to the LSU Tigers. Okay, it's time to put the kids to sleep. These Volunteers have been, they're staying up past their bedtime. I really loved a piece, though, from Wilson Alexander today in The Advocate, where he looks at 5 questions that LSU must answer if they want to have success this weekend. And I guess, Jake, you'd probably have better perspective on this than I would, given that you watch more college sports than I tend to. But it's a question of, first and foremost, are you worried about a lack of power at Charles Schwab Field in Omaha? Now, if you're like me, the last time you probably really locked into Omaha, well, maybe outside of 2017, obviously they made the final, but was 2013, right? The first year. I think was that the first year at the new park?
That feels right.
When UCLA won and they only batted like 200 or whatever, and that year LSU goes 0-2, and for 2013 and 14, only 6 home runs were hit in 30 games at that ballpark. Why is this a big deal? Look at the field of 8 right now. Who currently leads in home runs as a team? Your LSU Tigers, okay? 133 round trippers on the year. Florida and Wake Forest both have 129. You've hit 16 home runs at 5 postseason games. We all know, okay? It's been the main driving force
not only
behind your offense.
Is LSU number 1 here in Omaha? They were number 2 in the country overall, only behind Florida Gulf Coast, who had 142 home runs. LSU second in the country, followed by Maryland, Florida, and Wake Forest. Tennessee comes in at number 6. So a lot of power there in Omaha for a stadium that typically doesn't give up a lot of home runs.
Was Florida Gulf Coast Lob City?
Yes.
Yeah.
Wow. So they just do like the sexiest things in sports
And
just
home
really
run,
well?
And home run city.
That's what he's
apparently.
saying.
That's what I'm saying. They just jack home runs and throw alley-oops all day. Like that's pretty badass in terms of like singular sporting plays that people enjoy seeing.
God, even on the NCAA website, when you click on like them being the home run leaders, it takes you to highlights of them playing in the NCAA tournament that year.
Okay. Now, wow. Well, I mean, yeah, it's like we have these cultural touchstones, and that's all.
Yeah.
I don't know much else about Florida Gulf Coast.
They're in Fort Myers, Florida.
Okay. I don't know where Fort Myers is. Is it by St. Augustine?
I could not have told you which part of Florida Gulf Coast. I felt like Panhandle was going to be a good answer there, but I was wrong.
So 2034, they had 6 home runs hit in 30 games. That's obviously a major, major red flag. But it has gotten a bit better here recently. Since 2017, you've had at least 18 home runs hit every single year. And in the last 2 years, you've had 28 home runs hit each of the last 2 years. So, Jake, I don't know. I mean, look, I still think it's going to come into play, right? I still think there's certainly, and I know really it's the entirety of the SEC that has these kind of home run, kind of small ballparks. You hear Jay Johnson talk about it coming from the West Coast. You've heard others talk about it as well. So there are certainly going to be balls that would make it at home in the box that do not make it here. However, it doesn't appear to be the awful problem that it was previously, where you're just seriously negating, like, arguably one of the, if not the main portion of baseball nowadays.
Yeah, a couple of things, couple thoughts here. Some of those baseballs that LSU hit in the Super Regional would have gone out of any ballpark that there was. I mean, they left the stadium, hit the scoreboard. So LSU does have like plus power. So it's a little bit different. That's why they're second in the country. Also, teams that you're going to be facing, Florida, Wake Forest, and Tennessee, they are 4, 5, and 6, as I laid out there, in home runs. They have to deal with the same thing. And another portion of it, Ty Floyd, you're number 2. What does he give up a lot of? Home runs. Gave up 3 against Kentucky. Maybe this can help keep the ball in the ballpark for him as well.
So it's interesting you bring up Ty Floyd, because it's Wilson Alexander's question number 2, which is quite simply, how deep can Ty Floyd go? Now, it's really hard for me to wrap my head around anything past Saturday night, right? There's just so much on the line with LSU and Tennessee and Paul Skeens, and really needing to get a Skeens win, and in Tennessee, an opponent that, is going to press you as hard as any will, even with a Paul Skeens on the mound. But if you do look forward, although the pitching as a whole has been really good this postseason, and I love the current form of the bullpen, Ty Floyd has yet to have his postseason moment. He hasn't been bad. Don't get me wrong. It's but he can't be, right? You can't be the number 2 starter and have like a Christian Little, I just walked 17 people without recording out in the first inning start. So, there hasn't been the disastrous start. He hasn't been awful, but 71 pitches in just 3 innings before the weather delay against Oregon State. 82 pitches in the 4 and the third against Kentucky. If you're talking about trying to make it out of what is essentially a regional setup, you most likely need Ty Floyd to give you, 6, maybe 7. You just need him to give you maybe a bit more than what you've been getting thus far. And who knows? Maybe he could have made it 5 against Oregon State if not for the weather delay, right? So this may be much ado about nothing, but it's just that he doesn't have that postseason moment yet.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with you. You want him to go longer. There's no question about it. Obviously, the weather delay in the first game and the regional played a factor into that. Who knows how long he goes? It only goes 4 and a third against Kentucky. But the good thing is, now again, you want him to go long. You want him to go at least 5 innings, right? And you want to go for a qualifying win if you can. But also, the good thing is the bullpen has had to come in, and they've pitched well in those outings in which he was only able to last 3 or 4 in a third inning, right? That you heard the first time when he only goes 3 innings, and then when you go 4 and a third against Kentucky, you had a couple of guys step up. So at least they have shown that they can come in there and they can do that. And, you know, they started a game. They had a Johnny Holstaff game in the regional as well. That went well for LSU. So, yes, as much as you want Ty Floyd to go deeper into these ball games, if this was a month ago, 5 weeks ago, you're fully panicked because when the bullpen did come in, they did not kind of close the door or keep you in the game. And the bullpen now has been doing that. So, yes, go deeper, but also you feel better about it if he doesn't go deep.
Yeah, and obviously the pin's one of the questions, or not one of the questions, maybe even one of the keys, right? Hurd, Guidry, Cooper, Herring, Ackenhausen, Money. Is Blake Money working his way into there? He's been good last time to see him. I mean, he feels like an arm that maybe you're up big, you're down big, but these regionals have a way of pushing your staff, Jake, where people can get put in positions of high leverage where maybe that wasn't the original intended plan. I mean, Javen Coleman is still kind of hanging out in the edge, right? If LSU has to battle out of a loser's bracket and they put up a fight, there's a chance that maybe he finds the starter's mound. Here's a stat that I find to be very encouraging. Riley Cooper, the bad body god, our guy, the hefty lefty, the fat man with a PH, has allowed just 2 runs over 11 innings since the SEC tournament. So he has refound that form that made him your most reliable setup guy last year, and that's going to be critical as he could. I mean, he's appeared in more games than any other pitcher this year for LSU, right?
The last 3 years, going back with Jay Johnson at Arizona, going back to last year, going back days ago to the final portion of this year after Super Regionals, he's led his team in appearances all 3 years.
Wow. And so he's been to the College World Series before, right?
Yes.
At Arizona.
Yeah, with
Jay Johnson.
Yeah.
And it's also Jay's experience there that I think comes into play here. You know, many of the players may not have been, but Jay Johnson has been a couple of times, and so he knows how to approach this. This is one of the things that he learns is you just approach it like a regional. And you don't pay any attention to the other bracket because it's irrelevant to you until it is. And you're given ample time to get ready for one opponent if you do make it out of your side of the bracket.
And yeah, to your point, Jay's been here. Sully's obviously been here with Florida, but these teams haven't been here. The only team, even Tennessee wasn't here a year ago. They were 2 years ago, but a lot of that team is in the minor leagues now. So Stanford really the only team that has the advantage of kind of knowing the ballpark. A bulk of that team played here a year ago. That is wild to me. Of 8 teams, only 1 repeat. Now Stanford's 3 years in a row. So it is advantage to have a coach that has that experience. To have Jay Johnson if you're LSU, to have Sully if you're Florida, because you've got a field that doesn't have a ton of experience in Omaha, where it feels like usually you have at least 2 or 3 coaches that have won it.
And look, we all know that Jay Johnson, there's one thing he knows, and from talking to him how he approached the region originally, you know what he's doing right now this second. He is grinding film. By Saturday night, I guarantee you that Jay Johnson could tell you the dietary restrictions of Tennessee, Wake Forest, Stanford. That man is in the lab chopping it up. And, it's all going to culminate in the battle Saturday night between the Tigers and the Volunteers. And make no mistake, we owe them, okay? I have not forgotten the embarrassment of Tiger Stadium. A regular season series was not enough to wash that bad taste out of my mouth. You know what is? Slamming the door in their face in Omaha, okay? Hopping into the catbird seat by climbing on their face to get up that ladder. And that's all on the line come Saturday night. When we get back, Let's talk a little about what those dirty volunteers are saying, as The Athletic has a headline right now about how Tennessee's in a golden age, but it's a golden age that is missing one crown jewel. We'll break it down next. Look, thank you for joining us today. YouTube.com/1045ESPN. Hit the like button. We're going all morning long. Do remind you to go to Rejuve Medical. Okay, RejuveMedical.com. You're going to feel younger, faster, stronger, get that energy coming out of bed or maybe even rolling into bed. Go to Rejuve. Maybe HRT's for you. It's your hormone replacement therapy, right? They're going to draw your labs, see where you're strong, where you need work. They've actually caught like major health issues when drawing those labs, and so it's worth it even maybe from that sense, just to kind of get a general checkup of where you're at. And the bottom line is they're going to customize a comprehensive plan for you to get you where you want to be. And ask about the semaglutide, your metabolization optimization. It's the hot new thing on the streets right now. Metairie, Slidell, Baton Rouge, and now Shreveport as well. Rejuve Medical, RejuveMedical.com. More OTB next.
Off the Bench with Hester and T-Bob. ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria, and 1130 The Tiger. In times of need, get a full list of phone numbers, websites, and other important emergency information on the Demco Stormwatch page at 1045ESPN.com.
Get 3.99% financing at Corvell Toyota in Opelousas on select 2023 models. And we also have a large selection of pre-owned inventory. So come on down to Happy Town. That's Corvell Toyota in Opelousas, Happy Town, USA.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. And we're right there with you. Our mobile banking app is a smart way to manage your money and time. Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
I drove myself to the ER, had heart surgery, and drove myself home 24 hours later, feeling fine. Starting running again after the procedure. I'm getting excited thinking about it. I had no pain, nothing. I felt great. And right then and there, I was like, oh my God, I'm back. I'm back. It's just amazing.
Ochsner Health. Long live you.
Oh, hey, what's up? It's Big D and Bubba, 100.7 The Tiger Morning Show. We'd love for you to join us every weekday, 4 a.m. till 9 a.m.
Yeah, everything you want in a show. Country music. We got laughs. We got celebrity in-studio guests. We just need you.
Join us every weekday morning, 4 a.m. to 9 a.m., right where it all started.
That's right. Louisiana's country station, 100.7 The Tiger.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary, for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Hey there, little buddy. What's the matter?
What's the matter? My windows, siding, and my door. That's what's the matter.
Relief Windows can fix all of that. I got you. Pop, pop. What's up?
Oh my gosh, look.
Curb appeal. That's a good-looking neighborhood. ReliefWindows.com.
When is a taco more than just a taco? When it's Government Taco. Voted best tacos 3 years in a row by 225 Magazine, Government Taco puts the most delicious spin on tacos the capital area has ever seen. With creative combinations like the Magna Carrot, the Filibuster, or the Steak of the Union. Plus perfect tortilla chips paired with the best salsa and queso you've ever had. And
Hey, it's Hunt. Join me for a Wednesday edition of the Hunt Palmer Show. We'll chat with Les Johns, who covers the Wake Forest Demon Deacons, and Chris Demui on the Tigers. Hunt Palmer Show, 1 to 3 weekdays, 104.5 ESPN, Baton Rouge.
All-Star Toyota presents Off the Bench with Hester and T-Bob. ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria, and 1130 The Tiger.
Yo, what's happening, y'all? We just got confirmation. Flestering is on for today. Matt Flynn coming up here for hour number 2. Looking forward to that. I actually just loaded down, Jay, with some My High Freezy Pops for the kids for the beach next week. So, excited about staying hydrated. I almost, this is a PSA. I'm not, because it's actually not funny. It's only funny because it all worked out. But I last time I went to the beach, I pulled a bit of a Clark Griswold where, my in-laws' family was kind of like bouncing back and forth. No stamina for the beach, right? Me like hanging out for like 30 minutes here or there. I'm like, look, we're here for like a couple days. We're going to the beach.
Yeah.
Right? Like we're at the beach. We're going to stay on the sand. And so my oldest daughter, she was like 3 at the time, was the only one that would ride with me. And so we stayed out there about 12 hours. Just playing, building castle, just getting after it, beginning to end. And then, oh man, she got home. She's so tired. Oh, she passed out. Look how cute it is. She sleeps there. Well, she wouldn't really wake up that easily the next day. Scary stuff. I dehydrated her to a very sketchy point. Very, very sketchy point. I've never seen anything like it. Like she was lethargic, could not really rouse her. We immediately rushed to the doctor. And as they're giving her fluids, I'm watching almost like it was a video game, I'm watching her energy bar go up.
Yeah.
It was insane, right? Like she's drinking these fluids and she's like finally starting to talk a little bit, starting to open her eyes. Like it was actually terrifying. It was actually terrifying. So the point is, first off, hydrate. Obviously, that's where the My High comes in. But secondly, most importantly, it's okay. You can take a little break. Okay. You don't have to go so hard at the beach. You get out for a sun a little bit, maybe a little midday nap, midday break, and then you go back in that afternoon. Some lessons are, only learned in the doing. But I felt bad. Felt bad about that one. So if you're going to the beach, just be careful.
Yeah, I feel you though. I mean, you go to the beach to go to the
beach,
actual beach. It's not to sit up in the condo and just look at the beach.
Exactly. That was kind of my thought as well.
Yeah, and as the kids get older, it gets even better. The older they get, obviously, the better it gets. So this year, you're going to have a better time than you had last year.
I know. I can't wait.
If LSU's winning.
That's true. That's true. And I love building sandcastles. Speaking of, if you haven't, we're not going to talk about it here, but if you have not seen the Peyton Hillis, what is that? Good Morning America with Michael Strahan? What show is Michael Strahan on?
Yeah, GMA, I believe.
Yeah, so if you haven't seen the Peyton Hillis piece on GMA, I would say look it up online as Peyton Hillis sat down with Michael Strahan to talk about rescuing his niece and his son from a riptide earlier this year. This man left it all on the line for his kids, almost drowned himself, spent 11 days unconscious, but able to hear everything in the hospital. It's just a kind of horrifying but incredible story all the same. You should definitely go check it out. Again, respect the water, right? I mean, but it's weird, man, because when I was growing up, I feel like when we go to the beach, I'd just be on my own all day, right? Like my parents would give me a boogie board and I'd be like gone into the wind.
There's probably some truth to that. Also, like I think about riding my bike to school when I was in elementary school. Like I went miles, not like 10 or anything, but like 3 miles.
Oh, really? That's a pretty big ride.
On my bike. And, I crossed a pretty busy street. Now they had like crosswalks and different things, but to think to let our children just go like ride their bike a couple of miles and cross them like, not Nicholson or anything, but a pretty busy street. I'm like, no, absolutely not.
No, I know. Well, and it's like after watching the Hillis thing yesterday, I'll be damned if I'm ever letting a kid like under 15 out of my side of the beach. I'm not saying it won't happen, but I'm going to do my damnness to make sure that it doesn't.
Yeah, I just count big old Hester heads when I'm out there. Like,
it makes
1,
sense.
2, 3, 4. All right,
block
we're good.
heads floating around.
Yes.
That's the one thing that Quad remains 99th percentile with. It's just his head. He's just got a massive head. Why? Because he has a massive brain, like his dad. All right, let's talk a little Tennessee. Jake, there's an Athletic article today from one of the Tennessee beat writers talking about how Tennessee is currently in a bit of a golden age, right? And that you have to go back 20 years to find the kind of level of success that they're having right now. Now, 20 years ago, success that we were all too familiar with. That was Eric Ainge. It was an SEC championship. That was Pat Summitt and Candace Parker, back-to-back national champions in women's basketball. Who's their softball coach?
I just went blank.
Weekly?
Yeah, just
Weekly.
made it to
Anyway,
the semis.
whatever. She was awesome back then. They're still in the women's. Like, she's the only one that's been consistent throughout. But the bottom line is that it was at around 2007 last time Tennessee was having this much consistent success. Now, they went through some really bad times, again, save for softball, in the interim. But all of a sudden, you look up, you have Rick Barnes and a Tennessee basketball team that's winning SEC championships. And while it doesn't quite have, and making the tournament consistently, they just played in the Women's College World Series. As we said, we all know what football did. 11 wins, beating Alabama finally, looking like they could be potentially a consistent power going forward. And then you have the rise of Tony Vitello. Like, Tennessee baseball was never anything. And now, all of a sudden, they're year to year considered to be one of the best teams in the entire country. What's the one thing, and oh, by the way, they won the USA Today SEC All Sports Trophy 2 years in a row. But, Jake, what is the one thing, despite all this good, that they do not have?
A trophy?
A championship. That's right. They do not have a championship. The Golden Age is missing its crown jewel, and Tony Vitello is. Would you agree with this? Out of everybody I just named, and maybe save for Weekly. We'll take softball out of it. Maybe you don't have to, actually. But who do you believe out of all these coaches, all these programs for Tennessee is best positioned to win a championship?
Gosh, I don't know, because like Josh Heupel, I think is a great coach, but I don't think he's there. I don't think he's close to there yet. Rick Barnes has never had a strong postseason history. It's kind of what he's known for. It might be Tony V.
And that's where this all becomes so incredibly delicious to me, is that the one thing they're missing is a championship, and the one man who seems most destined to give it to them is Tony Vitello, and therefore he is the one man that I want to crush mercilessly. I want LSU to take all of their dreams and just squeeze the life out of them Saturday night. After the disappointment of last year, they watched this Tennessee team scrap back and fight back, and they're probably feeling like a lot of people are. They're probably feeling like this is going to be one of those weird, quirky sports moments, right? Where the 25-5 in the SEC team fails, but then the 17-13 one gets it done. Well, guess what, Tennessee? This ain't a fairy tale, okay? And Paul Skeens is coming for that ass Saturday night. And I would be lying if I said that it doesn't make me want it even more, Jake. Not just for the success of LSU and all the athletes that we've got to know and the coaches and support staff and everybody that we know in that program. I want to do it out of petty hate. Petty, old school, wonderful hate for my opponent, right? For my enemy. I don't want them to have any modicum of happiness. And I want them, I wouldn't mind them even getting close, only to be crushed once again. I want to beat them Saturday. I want them to fight all the way back, face LSU in the final, and then I want to beat their ass again. and I want to deny them that crown jewel and send them back to another year of crying volunteers. Screw you, Tennessee. Bums.
Yeah, it's a team that you have a long history with. It's a team that you've got a couple of great promos against. I know a lot of people are hoping maybe you cut another promo. It's a team you know very well. It's a team that you've played, over the last couple of seasons since they've been on their heater. So
Yeah.
I agree, though. I agree with everything you said. They are a team that has not yet finished it.
What would you say about this? If you look at the pitching, LSU has the best pitcher. Does Wake Forest have the best staff? And then does Tennessee have the best prospects in terms of numbers?
That's a good way to put it. I think Wake Forest, if you ask me who's the best staff, it's quickly going to be Wake Forest. But for Tennessee, they do have a couple of guys that, and you never know. I mean, obviously, like we throw this around probably too lightly, but feel like 2 first-rounders guaranteed. Yeah. LSU obviously has maybe the first rounder, maybe the number 1 overall pick, but Tennessee's got a couple. I still think Wake Forest has a better rotation.
Yeah, well, they definitely have the better numbers, for sure. I mean, nobody even comes close to touching Wake Forest numbers. Man, what a side of the bracket.
Yeah.
Like we said, best pitcher, best pitching staff prospects, best staff. Oh, and then Stanford, who's been there 3 years in a row. And as Jake pointed out, in Omaha, where there's a lot of new faces. But the best things in life are earned the hard way, right? Like if you want to be 80 years old and looking back and still telling stories, if you're a part of this LSU baseball team, if you make it through this half of the bracket, that is something that, if you finish the fight, you achieve immortality. I mean, just look at the 2017 and you, Jake. I mean, y'all are, despite everything that happened, because you won the net, I mean, y'all are quite literally immortal. Like, we'll never be forgotten.
And you were on the team, too.
No, I know. But you were like the headline guy, right? The All-American, the running back.
They do last forever, though, to your point. You can't take them away. Nobody talks. I mean, yes, you might say only 2 lost national champ, but it's not about that. It's usually just national champ.
Yeah. The 2 lost national champ gets remembered over the 13-1 team that didn't win, or it doesn't matter. Like, it gets remembered a lot of times the same way that the undefeated national champ does. So that's what's on the line.
Yeah,
Literal immortality come Saturday night.
Yeah, I mean, I'm looking at it, the bracket, and that side, you've got some arms. I mean, we know Paul Skeens, but Rhett Lauder from Wake Forest, if you don't know who he is, I mean, he's somebody that's pitched over 100 innings. Skeens is at 107. He's at 108. As far as runs given up, Paul Skeens has given up 26. Rhett's only given up 28. Earned runs, 21 for Paul Skeens, 23 for Rhett Lauder, 192 ERA for Rhett Lauder, 177 for Paul Skeens.
Sheesh.
I mean, Rhett Lauder's the real deal. I mean, he's the second best pitcher in Omaha.
And that's not even getting into Dolander or Burns or anybody else that Tennessee is bringing to bear. So it's going to be fun, man.
Well, and like with Burns and Dolander, like, yes, electric arms, but they have been touched up at portions in this season. They're more, like you said, I think you laid it out perfectly, more prospects than they are actually what they've done here. Now, they've been good, but they have not been Paul Skeens or Rhett Lauder elite.
That's why they're kind of a bit scary, though. I mean, you should be more scared of Lauder because he's been more consistent. So you should expect that consistency to continue. But you do hate Tennessee because those guys feel like they haven't necessarily matched their full potential at times this year. And you're like, okay, well, what happens if they suddenly do? If they suddenly found their form? Which, I mean, look at what they did against Southern Miss in Game 3, right? Like, that's what they expected that staff to be able to do all year long, and it's how they end up closing out the Golden Eagles. All right, though. When we get back, we'll travel away from Omaha for today. And let's head over to Airline Drive. Saints minicamp beginning yesterday. Mandatory minicamp. Who ended up showing up? What are some big storylines? We got it coming up for you next here on OTB.
Off the Bench with Hester and T-Bob.
Get Gordon and get it done. 225-888-8888. Those Jake's always telling you. It could be any area code in Louisiana with 888-8888. And that's because Gordon McCurtain throughout the entire state fights for you in the courtroom, right? If you need somebody who's going to get you what you deserve, you want to get Gordon and get it done today. But we were talking about LSU being the flagship, right? And yeah, for the entire state, I don't care if you're 318, wherever, 337, 2 that everybody loves the Tigers. Well, you know who else does? Gordon McKernan. That's why he started the G team. A lot of your favorite athletes joining up with the Godfather of NIL to give back to the community, advertise, and succeed on the field. Get Gordon, get it done today.
GetGordon.com is a website, on social media, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, wherever you're looking. Check out that handle at GetGordon. You see all the information we talk about every single day. Area code in Louisiana, followed by 888-8888.
Our listeners fire off their opinions on the jimsfirearms.net hotline at 499-1045. Keep listening for your next chance to shoot us your thoughts with the jimsfirearms.net hotline on 1045 ESPN Baton Rouge.
This summer, retirement is a state of mind. Whether it's a mid-morning activity or an early bird special, grab a Coors Light and chill like you're retired.
The best kept secret in town is out. Discover Tallulah at the Renaissance Hotel on Bluebonnet.
All right, let's say ah.
Where'd my spotlight go?
Super weird, but we can take care of it.
Get in and get better at Patient Plus.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary, for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected. Supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team. And backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
Hello, Samantha, dear, I hope you're feeling fine. And it won't be long until I'm with you all the time. But until then, I spend my money up and down on my last dime.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is.
Matt Moscona inviting you to join us for Wednesday's Hump Day AFR, presented by Pluckers. We'll deep dive into LSU, Tennessee, and the rest of the CWS field. And it's a Whiskey Wednesday. Join us 3 to 6, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
I was lying on the grass of Sunday morning of last week, indulging in my self-defeat. My mind was thugged, all laced and bugged, all twisted, wrong and beat. Uncomfortable, 3 feet deep. Now the fuzzy stare from not being there on a confusing morning week. Impair my tribal lunar speak. And of course you can't become if you only say what you would have done. So I missed a million miles of fun. I know it's up for
All-Star Toyota presents Off the Bench with Hester and T-Bob. ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria, and 1130 The Tiger.
Yo, what's happening, y'all? Welcome back to OTB, youtube.com/1045 ESPN. If you're hanging out in there, hit the like button. Get to your summer comments soon. We got some very sportsy hour. We got flustering coming up in the second hour to kind of wash maybe some of the sports taste away. And then we'll revisit in hour number 3 when we talk to Scott Shanley and a lot of college football news to get to. In New Orleans Saints news, mandatory minicamp officially got underway on Tuesday. And look, this is the offseason portion where it's of varying importance, right? It's not to say there's nothing that can't be gleaned from this, as we're going to see, but also, maybe take it with a grain of salt in terms of making too many wide sweeping conclusions. For instance, if you had just showed up yesterday, you would have seen that Rashid Shaheed was absent. You're like, oh man, what's going on here? Well, apparently he's injured his groin, but it's nothing serious. He's going to be fine come camp time, which is great. Go ahead. Get this out of the way now. Get right for the year. Kendre Miller, not practicing either right now, Jake. Don't have confirmation on exactly what that is. I'm guessing, again, just some sort of small injury. Other newsy bits from yesterday. Good for Eric McCoy on the offensive line. He's kind of been the only Saints starting offensive lineman that's been available during these OTAs, and he finally had some of the homies back. As Andrews Pete shows up, they had James Hurst back at left tackle, Calvin Throckmorton at right guard, and Ryan Ramczyk back available. That's big news. They're at right tackle. So still not full strength, right? So much of this year depends on what happens with Trevor Penning's foot. Real quick on the Penning foot, Jake. You've had Liz Frank, correct?
Yep.
What, and it's probably different even for you than him given his size. Where is your head at expectation-wise with Penning, knowing he suffered that in, the final game of the year, I believe, correct?
Yeah.
When that went down? Yeah. What does that look like timeline-wise?
I mean, I think you're going to have enough time. The problem is with him, you're going to miss practice time. And it's not really here. And you said it there, it's minicamp.
Give us the NFL vet perspective on minicamp.
You're for a veteran player, you're kind of going through the motions. It is what it is. For the younger players, you're installing. It's not really physical. It's more mental. It's a mental portion of what you're trying to do because you're trying to, get a foundation started. Again, for a vet, like when you're on day 2 install, like Ryan Ramczyk is rolling his eyes right now. He's doodling in his notebook because he knows everything that they're going to say. For a younger player, it is mental. He's going to miss the mental portion of this. And then I have to imagine physically he's going to miss parts of training camp.
Mm-hmm.
Even if he comes back, he is not going to every single day stack days on top of each other because I just don't think that injury allows you to. And you're right, it is different. I was 230 pounds. He's 300 plus pounds.
Yeah.
Right.
Probably,
so it's going to be completely different. Now I was doing, shifting more than he was, but it still doesn't matter. It's still an injury that it is tough. And I did mine where I had a full all season to be able to go out there. So I was ready for camp. He did his the last game. It's going to be a tough situation for him. But the mental portion of this, the physical portion of practice, that's what makes me nervous as much as the injury because he didn't get a lot of time last year. He was banged up last year as well. It's eventually, man, you have to have that foundation. You have to build it up. And this is when you build it up. And you can do some things. I'm sure he's out there with a script. I mean, you've been injured, T. You've probably been out there with a script as well. You're paying attention, but it's not the same being in there. Even if these reps are basically a notch above a walkthrough. You'll go a little bit of tempo, but not a lot.
He still needs that, though, to your point.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, he still needs even the physical work. He definitely needs the mental work, but he even still needs those physical reps. It's funny to hear you say that about minicamp, though, because you're absolutely right, and I could sense that out of other vets when I went through minicamp. But for me, the actual physical portion was hard, not from a conditioning standpoint, right? But really trying to prove yourself and learn how to rep against NFL guys. And obviously Trevor Penning's way, way, way better than me. And so it's not he's not going to be outclassed in the same way, but he still needs those reps. And unfortunately, in a year which he's going to be relied upon heavily, he's not going to be able to get them.
Yeah, I mean, you'll be in a meeting room, and if you're 4, 5, 6 years in the NFL, it's hey, all right, hey, we're going to install a bunch right 20 ISO here. And you're like, oh, my God. like you're looking around the room, like who? And then you got the one, rookie running back that's in there. He's like drawing the diagram of what bunch right 20 ISO looks like. So it is different for everyone. And he really hasn't had that opportunity, again, to build his foundation because of last year he was injured. This year he's been injured, and that can be difficult. So the mental portion of this for him, it's highly important. Like for guys, like Andrews Pete, for Hurts, for Ramczyk, it's not that important.
No, they've
in fact, like this is more like a get ready conditioning foundation for them. Let me put my helmet on. Let me run around a little bit.
So look, man, let's be clear. If Penning, this ends up all going awry, then outside of Olave, what are you talking about? Let's say 2 first-round picks for Davenport. Let's say a first-round pick for Peyton Turner. That'd be, 4 of the last 5.
Cesar Ruiz was a first-round pick.
Okay.
They didn't pick up his 5th-year option.
Yeah, they didn't pick up his option. So maybe 5 of the last 6 first rounds that you've had, if you miss on that, that's bad. And it's especially ironic given they've kind of drafted well in other portions of the draft, but that's really, really poor. So they desperately need Penning to work out and be the guy they need him to be this season.
I mean, there's a lot of question marks on the offensive line, like Andrews Pete.
Yeah.
One, can he stay healthy for a full season? Can he, if he's in there, is he worth anything?
Experience.
Right? Can he be anything there? And then Cesar Ruiz played better last year, so it's like, man, what did they see where they didn't pick up his 5th-year option, though? That's what makes you kind of, was he as good as I thought he was?
Lately. It's been in the NFL.
That's true. I mean, Josh Jacobs just had his decline. Then now he's signing the franchise tag.
Yeah, I've seen a few guys. Who else was it in Philly? Hargrave? No. I've just read a couple other stories about players who you would just assume. Oh no. And with Washington, like they didn't pick up Chase Young's 5th-year option, but then last year they didn't pick up one of their D-line's 5th-year option. He ends up balling out. Now he got the big deal. So the new NFL meta seems to be, let's make these first-rounders prove it in that 5th year before we commit to them.
It used to be, hey, this is why we're going to draft him in the first round because we have the extra year, and he's maybe a second-rounder with a grade around 34, 35. But if we take him at 32, we get an extra year.
All right, let's go to break. And when we get back, and I still want to return to Saints camp later on because I got some Alontae Taylor thoughts. But when we get back, hear what Stephen A. had to say about the Zion drama. It is one of the funniest things you're going to hear all day, I guarantee it. More OTB coming up next.
Off the Bench with Hester and T-Bob.
225-206-1517. That is Thomas Email's cell phone number from Riverlands Insurance. You call 225-206-1517, and then you start working with Thomas and Megan Email, the father-daughter insurance team that's going to work for you to save you money and get you the coverage you need. It doesn't matter what type of insurance you want, okay? Home, auto, business. If you're construction and you have some sorts of insurances that I don't even understand, you know who does? Riverlands, because they're from Louisiana. They know this market, and they do all the heavy lifting. Call the number, and then just reap in the benefits without you doing anything. 225-206-1517, Riverlands Insurance.
I would say call that number right now. Our listeners have had great luck calling that number during the live, so go ahead, call it, see what Thomas can do for you. He is going to help you out. He's going to answer that phone. So call him today at 225-206-1517.
In times of need, get a full list of phone numbers, websites, and other important emergency information on the Demco Stormwatch page at 1045ESPN.com.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
The world's leaders in obesity research, obesity medicine, and obesity science are right here.
We're doing something that no one's ever done, or trying to answer a question that no one's ever asked before.
Pennington is a real jewel when it comes to research.
We are finding the solutions to the world's worst chronic disease, which is obesity. Louisiana needs Pennington Biomedical.
There it is, the extra mile. on the border of expected and extraordinary for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected. Supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals. But many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Hey there, little buddy. What's the matter?
What's the matter? My windows, siding, and my door. That's what's the matter.
Relief Windows can fix all of that. I got you. Pop, pop. What's up?
Oh my gosh, look!
Curb appeal. That's a good-looking neighborhood. ReliefWindows.com.
When is a taco more than just a taco? When it's Government Taco. Voted best tacos 3 years in a row by 225 Magazine, Government Taco puts the most delicious spin on tacos the capital area has ever seen. With creative combinations like the Magna Carrot, the Filibuster, or the Steak of the Union. Plus perfect tortilla chips paired with the best salsa and queso you've ever had. And happy hour every day from 3 to 6 p.m.
Jimmy Ott and Charles Hanegraaff for the Wednesday edition of Live at Lunch. We're live at Roca Pizzeria on Government Street in Mid-City. It's Live at Lunch, Wednesday, 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. from Roca on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Don't wanna be a player. I don't wanna be playing no more. I'm not a player, I just crush a lot. Still got what you're looking for. Don't wanna be playing no more. I'm not a player, I just crush a lot.
All-Star Toyota presents Off the Bench with Hester and T-Bob. ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria, and 1130 The Tiger.
Yo, what's happening, y'all? Welcome back to OTP. The boys hanging out with you this morning. Hope you're having an excellent morning. I haven't even checked on chat this morning. I'm sorry, y'all. I'll get back in there for flustering hour. We'll maybe do a little Would You Rather Wednesday, or maybe like an Ask Flynn. One or the other. We'll figure it out. So this happened a couple of days ago, and we didn't really cover it on the show because I don't know. I didn't know that it was worth covering. But after all the Zion tweet drama, they had a charitable donation plan. What was it to, Mario?
He donated money for Jefferson Parish School Board, I believe.
Yeah. And so it's a great moment, donating money, him, the kids, everybody's up there. Well, and then Zion's dad took to the podium and kind of defended Zion, and Zion's kind of laughing, his hands in the back. It's just, it's kind of, I don't really care about that much, so I'm not trying to be a hot take guy here. At a time when you're like kind of hoping for more maturity, it just kind of got like a little bit of a child feel with your dad, your stepdad up there defending you. But Stephen A saw it, and he had a message. He had a message for two camps people. He had the message for people going after Zion for what, the current drama is about. But then he also had a message for Zion's dad getting out there and defending him on that stage.
What I said was, you only played 29 games. You got this energy. Evidently, in your sleep, you average 26. We know that the New Orleans Pelicans would have likely been in the Western Conference Finals. Hell, they might have beat Denver if Zion Williamson was healthy. Why would you feel the need to address those folks like that? Is that about Zion, sir, or is that about you? He's a superstar athlete. He's rich and famous. And oh my God, he was getting loose. He was having sex. Oh my God. Really? That's why you would feel a need to show up at his foundation and give a speech to the media nobody asked you to give. We know he's a great guy. We know he's a great athlete. We are expecting big things. The only thing your son should be bothered about is that he can't seem to get himself healthy to play. Got his money, though. You want to stand by your son? How about standing by your son in those physical therapy lessons to get that leg right so that brother can get on the court? He ain't getting in no trouble. He's not bothering anybody. And he ain't doing things most 22-year-old young, rich, famous superstar athletes wouldn't be doing. You hear a lot of superstar athletes that are young talking about a lot of things. Celibacy is not one of them. So stop it. Chill out. We just want to see him play. And then after he plays, he can go and play as much as he wants to.
I mean, dude. Stephen A. in podcast form is actually the best Stephen A. When he's not, just like locked into like the knife fight debate and the little more buttoned up corporate first take. Oh my God. The line that's going to stick with me, Jake, you hear a lot of young superstar athletes talk about a lot of things. Celibacy ain't one of them. I mean, very true. Very true. Exactly. Like, we don't really care, though. He is right, Zion. Just play. Just play.
Then you can go play.
Yeah, exactly. Just play, and then you can go play.
Yeah, I like that. Yeah, go stand by him when he's in physical therapy, hyping him up. Yeah, I'm with you. Go do that. So he feels like Zion again.
Celibacy ain't one. That's going to be stuck in my head all day long. Flustering with Matt Flynn coming up next here on OTB.
Off the bench with Hester and T-Bob.
Go to Patient Plus Urgent Care, patientplusuc.com, where you will immediately see the difference. And I say that because you're going to be blown away by the building itself. It's unlike any urgent care you've ever been to. That was my experience. It's been the experience of everybody that I've talked to that's gone in there. And of course, look, what are facilities without the people that staff them, right? So when it comes to nurses, doctors, nurse practitioners, they have the absolute best. Any testing that you need when it's flu season, cold season, whatever going on. You got an earache from the lake or something, Jake? Well, guess what? Okay, Patient Plus Urgent Care is there for you. Walk-ins always welcome. PatientPlusUC.com.
Yeah, when you go to the website, you will see that there is a Baton Rouge location that is going to be near you and convenient for you. You can also schedule the appointment online, but like T always tells you, walk-ins are certainly always welcome. And if you've been in there before, it's an incredibly quick process, right? Going to be in, going to be out. Get in and get better with PatientPlusUC.com.
Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram has $25,000 off new 22 Ram 1500 SCA trucks and incredible deals on all remaining 2022 inventory. All with Bayou's 1 million mile warranty. The crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
When is a taco more than just a taco? When it's Government Taco. Voted best tacos 3 years in a row by 225 Magazine, Government Taco puts the most delicious spin on tacos the capital area has ever seen. With creative combinations like the Magna Carrot, the Filibuster, or the Steak of the Union. Plus perfect tortilla chips paired with the best salsa and queso you've ever had. And happy hour every day from 3 to 6 p.m. and all day on Thursday. Government Taco, 5621 Government Street.
Turn my music high, 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 yeah. You don't know what you're doing. Sure I do. I'm from the streets where the hood swallow on me. Bullets will follow on me. There's so much that you could run the slalom. The cops comb this top to bottom. They say that we are prone to violence, but it's home sweet home. With personalities clashing, chrome meets chrome. Prices up and down like this Wall Street.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary, for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals. But many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Follow us on Twitter at 1045ESPN to cast your vote in the Citizens Bank and Trust Poll of the Day. Vote daily inside Off the Bench, live at lunch on Palmer. And after further review, Citizens Bank and Trust brings you the Poll of the Day via Twitter at 1045ESPN.
Good morning, everybody. It is 8 a.m. on Wednesday, June 14th. Today in Baton Rouge, expect sunny skies with a high of 95. Coming up on OTB, presented by All-Star Toyota, Matt Flynn joins the show in studio for the full hour coming up next. And we talk to former Saints linebacker Scott Shanley at 9 a.m. You can follow today's show on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok at OTB_ESPN, or catch us on YouTube at the 1045 ESPN channel and subscribe for daily content. Hour number 2 of Off the Bench, live from the Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge studio, starts now.
All-Star Toyota presents Off the Bench with Jacob Hester and T-Bob Hebert.
Yeah.
Off the Bench with Hester and T-Bob.
Hey, P, they said I gotta come off the bench.
All-Star Toyota presents Off the Bench with Hester and T-Bob. Yo, yo, yo.
Yo, what's happening, everyone? Welcome in. OTB hour number 2. It's time for some flustering. Matt Flynn back in studio. First time in a couple of weeks.
No, I missed 1 week.
Been out there. I thought you missed 2 weeks.
Nope.
Oh, no.
Well, if you want to get technical, you missed last week, and then it's been a week since last week, so that's a couple of weeks.
Ah, true.
If you want to get technical.
Big true from
so
Big
it has
Jake.
been a couple of weeks since T-Bob's seen you.
Oh, big
yeah,
hand,
but that wasn't the spirit
big-handed
of what
Jake
he
with the
said.
big brain.
He was basically saying, I miss. See, I came in here and Hester wasn't here.
Yeah, it's true. I forgot about that.
Kind of saved you. You were reeling them.
It was. It's always nice to kill an hour with the homies for sure.
You're struggling that day.
Next week, T-Bob won't be
for
here,
content.
so
that's why I invited you.
You'll be over there
if
you're here.
True.
Unless you want us, I mean, we can sit in the same side of the booth if you want to.
That'd be cute.
Same side sitters?
Yeah.
Love that. That's cute.
If we go to a movie together, empty movie theater, are we sitting by
Did
each
y'all
other?
ever do that on a date?
What?
Like on a day,
Make out
same
movies?
side sitters. Like sit on the same side of the booth as the person you were
No,
on
I
a
find it
date
harder to talk to the person.
I mean, at times, didn't specialize in it, but it happened.
Really?
I think
with my
I
current
don't know,
wife.
I just think that's real dorky.
Yeah, no, I'm saying, but why though? It's easier to talk across the table to the person. I find
Harder to hold their hand, though.
Otherwise, I'm like craning my neck.
Harder to touch their leg.
Holding hands during mealtime. What are we talking about?
But
I'm
what if-
holding a fork.
But look, we ain't all there to get about the business of eating. I mean, a date's just a nice little way to start. You go have a little food.
I mean,
you go to
what,
a picture
I need a little
show.
Casual thigh touching so I can
Maybe.
get laid later.
Whoa,
Why
bro,
not just
we're
get a couple
talking young,
glasses
bro.
of wine and
Whoa,
some bread?
no,
All
we're
right,
not
Danny.
talking about 35-year-old.
You're in a
people.
high school. If you're in high school though, a little casual leg touching.
It's
cool.
not the worst.
Yeah, it's
not
bad.
the worst.
Well, it's pretty aggressive. I feel like if you're sitting on the same side of the booth. Now, if you're sitting at a 4-chair square table, yeah, you can sit kind of perpendicular to each other.
I think it looks stupid on both counts.
No,
Yeah.
see, me and my wife still sit next to like on the 4-chair table. We kind of sit perpendicular to each other, like right next to each other.
Yeah, we do too.
Yeah. We don't sit. We don't sit across from each other on a 4-chair table.
Are you watching television or something? Are you like you want to be lined up in the same?
You know
way?
what? Sometimes I think I think neither one of us wants to be staring at a wall, maybe, but we also like to be next to each other.
Wow, you know what? I like to be present. I like to stare at my wife, okay, when I sit across from her at dinner and really just dive into her green eyes and just live in there.
Mm-hmm.
And really listen to everything that she's saying without my phone or any distractions, because everything she says is terribly interesting. It's the most interesting things I've ever heard, even though I've been hearing the same thing now for 17 years.
Sure. Anyway.
Also, though, you are forgetting about footsie, okay? And when you're across the table, you can play footsie, and a simple leg extension puts you way closer to any androgynous tones.
If Caitlin's playing footsie with you, she's really got to reach. That's all.
If you play footsies, are you?
Okay, relax.
The long reach roll.
How do you properly play footsie? Do you take your foot out of your shoe?
Yeah, you take your sock off as well, and you know when your foot gets kind of like sweaty and clammy and a little sticky, and you just kind of rub that sweaty, cracked heel on their feet. And I mean, boys, next thing you know, you in that thing.
I hadn't thought about footsies in a long time, but like I feel like
I just thought about T-Rob's cracked heel though.
It's really gross. Like now that I have kids, I realize how gross under a table is at a restaurant.
Well,
why would you want to take your shoe off?
Yeah, you wouldn't want
and then touch somebody's leg?
Yeah.
No,
I'm out.
Not for me.
It's just like climbing the staircase, just kind of a little graze up the old shin and the inner thigh.
With dirty under table restaurant feet.
Yeah. Well,
with cracked heels.
With cracked heels.
To be fair, you're not. I guess most aren't taking off their socks when talking about playing footsie. But I don't know. I actually don't know that I've ever really played footsie, so I'm just talking big game. if we're just going full. True
That's how they do
here.
it in the movies, though, right?
Yes. And I've seen other movies too, where like sometimes like maybe the female like goes underneath the table to find something, and then
those are banned in Louisiana
and then
now.
everybody's unaware of what's actually going on. I don't know how nobody else notices.
The tablecloths all the way to the floor.
Yeah, well, it seems like you would still know because the guy.
You don't have a lot of those restaurants, though.
No.
Long tablecloths.
No, you don't.
Guys sitting at the tables like making all these funny faces, like but I don't. Nobody ever seems to pick up on it. Matt, so what's been on, man? Hey, you'll be happy to know I just loaded down with some My High Freezy Pops for next week. So
Excellent.
Thank you.
What's next week?
Going to the beach.
Yeah.
Gonna try to make sure that I don't almost murder my child from dehydration like I did last time I was at the beach.
A delicious, healthy, frozen treat for the summer.
So good. So good. DrinkMyHigh.com.
Get them all at top.
So what's been up?
Nothing. Just living the summer dream.
Big baseball guy? See you
Big
with the
baseball
Staircase
guy.
LSU on
Check
today?
that out.
Interlocking LSU, deep dive into baseball.
Is that still the logo?
Yep.
Nailed it.
I feel like it.
That is.
You know me, dude. I don't notice uniforms like you do. It just all goes in one eye, out the other. I like rarely lock anything down. Have you actually been watching baseball, Matt, or have you stolen valor today?
Well, you guys know that when it comes to basketball and baseball, I never watch until it's exciting times of the postseason.
Fair.
Never really watched the first round, so I didn't watch the regionals, but super regionals locked in. It's like Major League Baseball playoffs, NBA playoffs. I never watch any of the rounds except
finals.
You only want the good stuff. You like Joe Dirt. Only the good stuff.
What about NHL?
Not snakes and sparklers.
Yeah, I watched that too.
Vegas Golden Knights closing out. Tough time to be a Miamian, right? Because you had these incredible postseasons where you had 2 8 seeds make the finals, but then you kind of just got your ass kicked in the finals. You lose 4-1 in the Nugs. You lose 4-1 in the Vegas Gold. Like, help me out here.
What a run, though.
That's what I'm saying. But, like, can you act like, do you emerge the other side happy or not? I mean, I'm sure, like, in basketball, you beat the Celtics, which you're probably ecstatic about. That's great. You beat that incredible Bruins team in hockey, which I'm sure you're happy about. But, like, it does kind of piss on the whole thing a little bit. Like, it just kind of makes it like, okay, this was fun, but
well, it's like the Tennessee conversation we had earlier.
Yes, true.
A lot of great seasons, a lot of great regular seasons, even some conference championships, but you don't have the championship. So, would you rather be bad or would you rather be pretty good?
Yeah, I mean, of course, it's always going to feel like real terrible right after you lose, especially like that. They both got one win, right?
Yeah, they both got 4-1.
Yeah.
They did the gentleman sweep. They allowed the team to win on their home ice and home court, which was nice.
It's always like trying to look at it with a wider lens perspective. Like at the beginning of the playoffs, would you be happy losing in the finals?
Yes.
Everyone would be like, hell yes. But
Still
how
feels a
many
little different once you get there.
Miamians and Floridians were in a bar having the time of their life for the past month?
That's true. And it's been nightly, almost overwhelmingly so, right? Because they kind of bounce back and forth between the two games. I
feel good. I'm happy for Bruce Koepka. He can finally get some sleep now.
Bruce, is that Brooks' brother?
Brooks is. I bet Brooks. That was an idiot.
Wait, so did you watch the Drive to Survive golf show? What's it called? Full Swing.
Yeah.
Okay, so I only watched like the first couple episodes. Yeah, but they definitely like paint Brooks Koepka as the enemy and make it seem like he's going through some things in that. And now it looks like he's on top of the world.
No, they didn't paint him in the enemy in that. I didn't feel like because he wasn't really part of Liv during most of his.
Well, not even just Liv, but like they open with him and he's got his hot Instagram girlfriend and his bleach hair and his giant Florida mansion. And then who's the other guy? Who's his foil? Scheffler. And then they go to Scheffler, and he's got like his much more approachably good-looking girlfriend. He's like, I'm just really nice, and I wear,
all shucks.
And all shucks, man. I just like to play golf, and he's like kicking ass, and Brooks is completely lost in the sauce. I thought that was absolutely what they were going for, was kind of painting him as the kind of bad boy, and Scheffler as like the.
Well, he kind of paints himself that way a little bit, but
Noted Florida Panther fan.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Maybe it's just my timeline. Because after he won the PGA Championship, they kept showing him like at every game, courtside or at every NHL game.
And it maybe looked.
And his eyes were like super wide.
I was gonna say in that one clip from the Panthers game,
performance enhancers.
It looked like maybe he was engaging in a time-honored Miami tradition that was keeping him awake.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. He had some. He had a lot of PEDs happening, I feel like, but I'm just excited for him. He finally gets to get a little rest just before the U.S. Open, so good for him.
So you're a big Brooks guy.
I like
golfer?
Brooks, yeah. Even though I called him Bruce, yeah.
It's just par for the course. That's the Matt Flynn genius. Okay, so Vegas, boys. They were an expansion team 5 years ago. They just won a championship in year number 5. Pretty incredible. Think about this. How's this for the first 5 years? 3 division championships, 2 conference championships, and a final win.
Yeah, they were good from the get-go.
That's what I'm saying. Incredible. Yeah. Can y'all name a little sports trivia for the fellas here? Welcome to the T-Bob Thunderdome.
Let's go.
Can y'all name me the other most successful franchise teams, expansion teams in sports history? These are all teams that would have won a championship within the first 5 years of their existence.
Like the entire championship?
The whole thing, yes.
The Marlins.
That is correct.
They won in '97 over the Indians. Jarrett Wright pitched game 7.
I knew he knew it, so I wanted to guess first.
Yeah.
That's the and they are by far the most random because all the other teams on here had success leading up to the ship. They were just awful the first 4 years, and then randomly the 5th year they got really good and won the championship. And they beat like the Braves, who were full of Hall of Famers. Yeah. They beat the Indians, who were full of Hall of Famers, and they didn't have anybody. I mean, Edgar Renteria, I guess.
Gary Sheffield.
No steroids
Gary Sheffield,
involved.
Bobby Bonilla was on that team.
But no, I don't know why. I just feel like they were kind of still a bit like, who's their pitcher?
I see. Josh Beckett was the next time that they won the World Series. Who was? Luis Castillo was on that team as well. Second baseman. I don't know who their stud pitcher would have been.
Okay, so you got Florida Marlins. You got a few more on this list. I don't think you're going to get
By the way, I'm not getting enough credit here. I got a trivia question right.
No, you did. I know. Yeah.
Sports guy.
Yeah, you did.
Big sports guy.
Oh, man. I know, like in football, the Jags and Panthers had success. They went to the NFC and AFC championship game, but they didn't finish it.
There's another one?
There is one NFL team on this list. It's a bit
the Ravens?
weird. Yes. Wow. Okay, good pull. I was going to say it's a bit weird because it was more of a franchise relocating, but the Baltimore Ravens in year number 5 is when they won that championship. How about this? I forgot about this. They allowed more than 14 points in just 4 of their 20 games, culminating in giving up 3 in the AFC Championship and 7 in the Super Bowl. They allowed 10 points in what should have been the 2 hardest games of the entire year. Shout out Ray Lewis and company. I think there's one more that I think y'all have a chance of getting. I don't think y'all are going to get Milwaukee Bucks from the 70s.
No. That was not coming.
So apparently the Bucks back in the day won a coin flip with the Phoenix Suns for the services of who? Lou Alcindor, who is Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. Yeah. So they get him, they get Oscar Roberts. They end up winning a championship immediately. The other teams, here's the Edmonton Oilers. You're not going to get them. They had a young Gretzky. Second year of Gretzky was their first year. They win a championship. But there's one more, Jake, you should get. If you think back on baseball of our childhood, there's a team in there, pretty unlikely champion.
See, the Rockies didn't. Diamondbacks.
Yeah, the 2001 Arizona Diamondbacks. Bo just
Luis Gonzalez.
Yep, just 4 years in with Randy Johnson and Kurt Schilling.
Yeah.
Co-MVPs. Name me another time you've seen co-MVPs in the World Series. I know it's happened before, but I cannot. So there it is.
Wait, was that the I don't really want to speak up. I'm going to sound like an idiot.
I mean,
I don't even know if it's the right picture. Was that the Kurt Schilling's blood on the side?
That was Red Sox.
Boston. That was in
breaking. But I mean, not too bad.
I got the
You
picture.
knew it was Kurt.
When I started saying it, I was like, do I even have the picture right?
You did.
Kurt Schilling, noted World of Warcraft nerd. Actually lost a ton of the money he made playing trying to start his own video game company. They ended up going belly up and failing, but I loved it. He made a game, Kingdoms of Amalur. That was actually pretty tight.
Made a game what?
He made a game called Kingdoms of Amalur, action RPG.
You didn't play Kings of Amalur?
I think R.A. Salvatore might have helped write it.
It was always sold out when I tried to buy it.
Well, that's not true because it didn't sell very well. But it was, it was tight for what it was. Wanted to make an MMO that day.
Jesse asked a good question inside the Bayou 4 chat. Was DeLucci on that Diamondback team? I think he might have been, actually.
I don't know because he was overshadowed by Craig Counsell, the only member of the team that actually mattered.
Was great. They're great batting stance.
The two most
now the manager of?
Oh, wow. I have no idea.
Anybody want to guess?
Twins.
Feels like it, but it's the Brewers.
Oh,
close.
Damn it.
Twins still got a squad?
Wes Johnson.
Uniforms and everything.
Really? Are you kidding me? In the Big League Now, one of my favorite movies.
Little Big League is what you're looking for.
Little Big League.
Yeah.
What did I say? In the Big
Leagues. In the Big Leagues now. I think Bruce Koepka's starring in that one.
Look, I hadn't had much sleep the last couple of days. I'm not gonna lie.
Probably my most
Bruce
favorite
Koepka.
random.
He was the pitcher.
Probably my most favorite random baseball player besides Craig Counsell, John Olerud. Playing first base with the batting helmet on.
How about this?
Legend of the game.
John Olerud was one of 3 players ever never to play in the minor leagues until the very end of his career.
Wait, what?
He had a rehab assignment and went down to the minors, and that was the first time he went straight from getting drafted to the big leagues, never played in the minor leagues.
He just was good enough just straight after getting drafted? Remember that Marlins infield that one year he was a part of? Weren't they that Marlins team they won? I don't know. Doesn't matter. When we get back, more flustering. Keep it locked here.
Thinking of Jeff Conine?
Off the Bench with Hester and T-Bob. ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria, and 1130 The Tiger.
Jake, our guy Matt is pretty full of it.
Yeah, he is.
He is, he's just clogged with BS.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why if he was a human or not a human, I would call Central Plumbing to take care of his pipes. CentralPlumbing.org, 925-8552. Any plumbing problems you have, CentralPlumbing.org. They have your back, okay? Licensed, bond insured, flat rate pricing, 24/7 emergency service, excellent warranty coverage. You don't got to think twice. Unfortunately, boys, I think my water heater looks to be on its last leg. I'm having to restart that thing daily. Climbing up in the attic, and it's hot up there.
I was about to say.
So I'll be making my own call pretty soon here to 925-8552.
You can go to the website, centralplumbing.org, and if T-Bob wants to take a look, you can go to water heaters and go to that tab and maybe go tankless with the tankless water heater, 225-925-8552, centralplumbing.org.
Our listeners fire off their opinions on the jimsfirearms.net hotline at 499-1045. Keep listening for your next chance to shoot us your thoughts with the jimsfirearms.net hotline on 1045 ESPN Baton Rouge.
there, little buddy. What's the matter?
What's the matter? My windows, siding, and my door. That's what's the matter.
Relief Windows can fix all of that. I got you. Pop, pop. What's up?
Oh my gosh, look!
Curb appeal. That's a good-looking neighborhood. ReliefWindows.com.
When is a taco more than just a taco? When it's Government Taco. Voted best tacos 3 years in a row by 225 Magazine, Government Taco puts the most delicious spin on tacos the capital area has ever seen. With creative combinations like the Magna Carrot, the Filibuster, or the Steak of the Union. Plus perfect tortilla chips paired with the best salsa and queso you've ever had. And happy hour every day from 3 to 6 p.m. and all day on Thursday. Government Taco, 5621 Government Street.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary, for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals. But many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to.
Hey, it's Hunt. Join me for a Wednesday edition of the Hunt Palmer Show. We'll chat with Les Johns, who covers the Wake Forest Demon Deacons, and Chris Demui on the Tigers. Hunt Palmer Show, 1 to 3 weekdays, 104.5 ESPN, Baton Rouge.
You made a fool of me, but the broken dreams have got to end.
All-Star Toyota presents Off the Bench with Hester and T-Bob. ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria, and 1130 The Tiger.
Who am I?
Craig Counsell.
Yeah, that's right. Jesse McCormick saying Kirby Puckett. Hell yeah, good name.
For the Twins?
Yeah, good name. Early
90s.
90s.
Rest in
Braves
peace,
enemy.
Kirby Puckett, but still mad at you for going against the plexiglass and catching that ball in the World Series.
Gulf South says, ask T-Bob, does he know what state the Brewers in and where that state is? Yes, Milwaukee's in Wisconsin. I have no idea where Wisconsin is, though.
That can't be true. That can't be accurate.
What?
He didn't know where Wisconsin is?
Mm-hmm.
It's fully accurate.
Well, it's by like Michigan, which I just learned is east of us. How about that?
Matthew, he thought New Jersey was a city and not a state.
It is a city, though. It is a
New
city
Jersey
as well.
City is a city.
Yes, exactly.
New Jersey is a state.
So I was half right.
You were also half
okay, but I bet you can't spell Milwaukee. I learned something about spelling Milwaukee.
He
this
probably
morning
can.
That blew my mind.
I'm not going to be able to. He probably can because you lived in Green
Spelled
Bay.
it, Mr. Big Brain Quarterback.
I mean, you probably flew into Milwaukee every time you.
I've never spelled it, but see.
No, hold on. Okay. Milwaukee.
Yeah.
Now.
Let's do
Try it.
Spell. What about like a spelling bee thing?
M-I-L. Can you use it in a sentence?
Yes. I once traveled to the city of Milwaukee.
Okay, good. M-I-L-W-A-U-K-E-E.
Wow. So you got the A-U right? My entire life I thought it was UA. Is that crazy? I learned that this morning. I learned that an hour ago, that it's actually AU. When I saw the Lou Alcindor, yeah, I thought it was Milwaukee. UAKE. It's not.
Like UA.
Yeah.
What? Name another word like besides like Tua.
Bro, Milwaukee is a Native American word. I don't know. Or you can't look for English. We can't look for English rules to be present. Then it's like Ouachita or Tchoupitoulas or any of this insanity that we currently live with.
That's why you ask country of origin.
I mean, Natchitoches is another one.
Yeah, exactly. Right? Yeah.
Natchitoches?
Yeah, they were drunk.
Very, very much so.
So I nailed it?
I feel like you did.
Big spelling guy. Big spelling guy.
Yeah, no, you did. No, you knocked it out of the park. I mean, that's why you played. That's why you played quarterback in the NFL. You're so smart. Speaking of playing quarterback, we had a fun. I saw a tweet earlier. I wish I could credit who it was, but it was just in passing. But I don't think many people know this. The quarterback in LSU history with the second most wins, actually Herb Tyler. And I think it was, 27-11 we said, Taylor?
Yeah, 27-11. He's actually tied with someone with 27.
Oh, okay. So we made Taylor do the math, look it up. Who is, and we're kind of debating, okay, who's number one, who's number two on the all-time wins list. Taylor's now, he had to brute force it. Apparently there's no
it's hard to find a list. I basically went through, looked at how many games they started, added up the win-loss record for those years.
Okay, nice work there. So
now, I mean, the top three were easy to find.
Okay.
But the middle area was
Burrow's got, what, 25? 15 and then 10 the year before, right?
Yeah,
that makes sense. So he's close.
He's close, but he's not top three.
I mean, it's got to be Jordan Jefferson's got to be up there.
He's six. He's six.
Yeah, no.
I mean, so we started talking about this. We were throwing out, obviously, Burt Jones, Tommy Hodson.
Well, I mean,
I'm going with Burt Jones being tied for two.
Jamarcus started for 2.5 years, right?
Well, in 2004, my freshman year, it was kind of Imran, him, y'all. I mean, y'all all played.
Yeah, but Jamarcus started like half those games, I believe.
Did he?
Maybe. And then he started.
He started basically what?
All of 05, all of 06.
Not even 2 full years?
I'm going to go with my final answer, Warren Rabb.
Is number one?
That's my final answer.
I only knew this because my dad was a big fan of this guy. It's Tommy Hodson by like 5 wins.
Okay, wow.
He went, he went 31, 14, and 1. But Burt Jones, 27, 8, and 1. Herb Tyler, 27 and 11. So they're like right there.
There you go, dude. Shout out the old heads. Kind of crazy,
What does Jamarcus have? Jamarcus has like 23, 24.
Yeah,
right?
he's close. I didn't look him up because I looked. He didn't start enough games.
Because we won 10 in 06.
Yeah, 10 in 06, 10 and he had 9 of 10.
Yeah, he didn't get he didn't get the Peach Bowl though.
That's right. That's right.
All right, T-Bob.
Let's go, dude.
While we're on the topic,
which
quarterback has the best win percentage at LSU?
A minute. Can I get like a minimum starts? Like you're not hitting me with like a 1-0, like 1,000 win percentage.
I just have the win percentage in front of me.
Andrew
No,
Hatch,
not
technically we won Auburn in the game that he got knocked out the first series.
This quarterback started at least 2 years.
And it's not Joe Burrow.
Jarrett Lee.
What? Yeah, Jordan Jefferson.
Matt Malk. A 900 winning percentage in 2 years.
That's an
right there.
Yeah.
It is kind of crazy, though. It's kind of wild that the total number of wins wouldn't have come from the LSU Golden Age, right? Like you just think about it. Like you've won so many national championships in the modern age since 2000 and all that.
That's probably indicative of being so good because you didn't have a 3 or 4 year starter.
Flynn. Russell has 25 wins, tied with Warren Rabb.
Okay. Nice work, Taylor. Good job, dude. That's good work.
Yeah, I got like a couple starts.
I don't know. How many wins you have?
I don't know. 10?
Yeah,
you're probably up there on the winning percentage, though.
Yeah.
I mean, you only lost, what, 2?
2, but like 2 out of 10.
Yeah.
Like
800.
Yeah, like you're probably up there on that.
You're doing great, man. What's wrong? You okay, bud?
Fine, guys.
You okay? Look.
Just really wanted to play
I don't even like Warren Rabb like I like you, okay? Don't worry.
I don't even mess with him like that.
Yeah, screw him, dude. Yeah, sure. Maybe Herb used to do some LSU pregame at WBL with me, but that don't matter, dude.
Whatever, guys.
What is this? Ask Flynn, has he watched the new Tour de France documentary?
Just
about
started
LSU's
it.
Race? Oh, nice. How's it going?
Let's go.
Yeah?
It's amazing.
Really? Better in succession?
I want to know if people in the chat have started watching it, and I want to know if this kind of like with Formula One, if it like breeds new fans of the Tour de France. So I got some fellow fans out there. It's amazing. No.
Maybe. Maybe.
Tour de
I haven't
France.
watched any of the things that you are talking about. Full Swing, haven't watched it.
I've only dabbled. I watched season 1 of Drive to Survive, and it was really good.
I feel like I would love Drive to Survive, but
Full Swing's actually pretty. Any of it's pretty cool.
I don't like golf.
It's just like.
I don't like
yeah,
golf
like,
on
I
the
don't- but,
weekends.
like,
I don't like
watch,
playing
like-
golf. I'm in the minority. I fully know that, but that wouldn't keep my attention.
Well, I'd be interested though, because it's not like I like F1. Like I've never watched an F1 race.
It's more about like human stories than it is the sport, I guess.
If you could choose a sport to get one of those made, what would it be? What would your favorite one be? I mean, I guess we kind of get a little bit of it in Hard Knocks, and I never really watched All or Nothing, so I can't even front and say football.
All or Nothing's great.
Really?
No.
Oh. I know Saints are in the news right now because they're one of the 4 teams that could do Hard Knocks, and everybody's like, no, please, God, no. Even though I'm guessing they're going to go with your boy.
What?
Up there in New York.
New Jersey.
Really? Yeah. State or city?
It's in the state.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's right across the river.
I don't know. They might. I don't.
Did you?
Everything they do is in New Jersey.
I can't.
They don't do anything in New York.
I don't understand how maps work. None of this makes any sense. Yeah, I think the Jets are probably going to get Hard Knocks, right? Absolutely.
I think that doesn't the team have to agree to it?
The league can force them.
The league
Yeah,
can force
the league.
them.
They're one of the 4 teams that the league can force to take it on. So are the Saints. Unfortunately, it's like it's some weird metrics.
How'd you get that?
It's like if you
suck. 4 teams?
If you suck really
yeah,
bad.
certain record, and if you haven't been on there. And,
yeah. It's a couple of
No,
different
it's
factors.
something like you haven't been to the playoffs in 2 years.
Okay, you suck really bad.
Your coach has been there for at least 2, and then there's like one more factor, and it's.
I think if you haven't been on the show,
been on it, like,
yeah, and it.
Yes.
Or if you haven't been on it in 10 years, is the thing, because the Jets have been. No, and it's like the Jets, Saints, Bears.
Oh my.
And maybe Washington are the 4.
I mean, I love
Last year
behind
was
the
great with the
scenes
Lions.
stuff.
Dan Campbell's perfect.
I think
for
the
that.
last time the Jets were on it was the last time I watched it.
Even
so that's been more than 10 years.
Yeah,
you're old.
Would you watch it if your boy A-Rod was on it?
Yeah, I mean, I guess. I don't know.
Would you watch it if
I don't think I'd be
Derek Carr was on it?
like that.
Mm-hmm.
No.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Dennis Allen, your former head coach.
I just told you I hadn't watched it in probably 10 years.
Yeah.
Just trying. Relax, guy.
I was
just asking questions.
Yeah,
relax.
I mean,
why are you being
I
so
lived
defensive?
through it. I don't want to watch it.
Nice.
My God.
I lived through that miserableness. I don't want to watch it.
So I remember the first year after I got cut.
Wait, are you talking about just like football in general?
Training camp.
yes.
I don't want to watch people go through training camp.
I almost
hated
retired one
training
year
camp.
because of training camp, like year 5. I'm like,
Yeah.
do I like this?
We had to
Is this
stay-
fun?
We had to. It's awful. So when I was in Green Bay, we had to stay in a terrible dorm room at St. Norbert's College.
Yeah, we stayed in a Holiday Inn.
De Pere.
Wait, but y'all rode the bikes.
And
so
then-
fun.
And then I think when I was in New England, we had to stay at a Residence Inn, I think.
Yeah, we were residents in Denver. Yeah.
There's nothing fun about it.
No.
And Seattle was good. We stayed at a nice hotel.
I remember I tried to watch Hard Knocks immediately after getting cut, and when it came to the getting cut scenes, it just was like it was too much, and I turned it off, and I've never watched since. So I think I just had a little bit of trauma that I just said, you know what, we're just going to bury that deep down inside, just never talk about it.
You get used to it
Don't
after a
engage
while.
with it.
Yeah,
Just let it,
getting cuts.
You see the Turk and you're like,
just let it stay
me?
there.
Me? You come for me?
You come for me? I'll
Snip,
save you
snip.
the walk.
Snip, snip.
I'll
Let's
save
go.
you the walk. Just stay there. I'll grab my
Oh,
stuff.
God,
I'll get my playbook.
I knew the Grim Reaper was coming for me. We were just sitting there, strength coaches going, picking off guys one by one.
Yeah.
Sitting there. Like
That
it's
guy,
only
the Grim
a matter
Reaper
of
has the
time.
worst job, man.
Yeah.
Every team's got one. Nobody wants to see him. Everyone runs from him. But he'll knock on the toilet stall if you're in there.
Ask Flynn, favorite all-time LSU player can't be T-Bob or Jake. It would have
It
been
wouldn't
me.
be T-Bob.
It would be me. It would have been me, 100%.
Absolutely. Favorite LSU player? Man, this is tough. I mean, I'd have to think about it quite a lot. But I would say one of my favorite to watch was Joseph Adai.
Okay.
That's a great answer. That actually might be mine as well.
He was a beast.
God, he was so good.
On
He gets
NCAA 04.
people. The name does not come out of people's mouths enough.
I agree.
When they talk about things.
When I got to college, and I've told you this story before, Matt, when I got to college and you break off into position groups with Moffitt, hey, running backs go over there, you're doing that. And I saw Joe Adai do one drill. I said, we're supposed to play the same position on the same football field. I don't know that can happen.
And you were like, I played defensive lineman last year for Shreveport Evangel.
Yes. And I'm supposed to look like that? I mean, the twitchiest, like, come out of his hips. Like, if he chipped you, you felt it.
He was
everything.
like, he could do the Bruce Lee 6-inch punch and knock you on your butt.
Oh, dude, I've been watching 1-inch punch videos lately.
1-inch punch? I said that.
I want to learn how. I get it. It's 6 inches. It's a unit of measurement that we're all very familiar with. But I've been watching a lot of 1-inch punch videos lately, and that's some of the coolest stuff ever. I really want to train my 1-inch punch, but I don't want to commit the time to it. It's like
your 1-inch pump? What did you say?
1-inch punch.
Oh, punch.
Like where you basically just put your finger against here, and then you go like
unit of measurement.
And it's like it's just, dude, it's insane when you're good at it. And Bruce was.
But do you think some of those videos are like some of the Steven Seagal videos of him? Karate exhibitions.
If they are, then at least they're well done. Because if you haven't seen what Matt's talking about, Steven has gotten so lazy. Like he's literally not, but he's just. It's like I watched a clip of a Steven Seagal movie the other day that people were breaking down, and I think everything in life that man does is just labored and lazy. Like he's just breathing heavy and just doesn't want to be there, but he needs the money. Like he's supposed to be some military guy clearing houses. He doesn't even have the butt of the rifle against his shoulder, and he's just going like, just not changing facial expressions.
I love it. He's just like,
just twisting the gun. Oh yeah, then they're running up on him. Well,
of our time, let's think about this during the break. Of our time, 90s action stars: Jean-Claude Van Damme, Steven Seagal, Arnold Schwarzenegger, Sylvester Stallone. Which one do you think was actually the best actor of the bunch?
Okay, best actor. I thought you were going to say best real life fighter.
Let's do both.
Okay.
When we come back.
Coming up next to hear more Flustering.
Off the Bench with Hester and T-Bob. In times of need, get a full list of phone numbers, websites, and other important emergency information on the Demco Stormwatch page at 1045ESPN.com.
The importance of doing this Fortified program and offering it to people down here is, number one, the only real chance you're going to get to do this is when you put on a new roof or build new. And through companies like HUDCO, who's kind of leading the way in this thing, it's going to offer the customers a huge advantage in the insurance market and the price of their insurance.
You know, we're not looking to make a fortune off fortifying. We're trying to give you a better product than our competitor at the moment. I'm trying to do something that he can. I'm trying to give you something better. So a lot of these insurance shops, you're getting a re-roof, you're only paying your deductible. Let's sit down and talk about the Fortified and let's see what it does to your insurance premium. You're getting a steal.
Yeah.
You're getting a brand new roof and a Fortified certificate for your deductible, essentially. And I think we're rocking and rolling.
Bayou Ford has up to $7,000 off MSRP plus 0% financing on new 23 Ford F-150 XLT trucks and incredible deals on all remaining 2022 inventory. All with Bayou's 1 million mile warranty. The crew at Bayou Ford is going to do right by you.
Electricity is all around us, and our families depend on it. Every day is sparked by the power of a cold drink or a warm meal, a movie night, and a comforting light at the end of a dark hallway. From sunrise to sunset, playtime to bedtime, our team is ready to take care of your electrical needs. Even in the case of an after-hours emergency, the light in your life shines brighter with Mr. Electric.
Hey there, little buddy. What's the matter?
What's the matter? My windows, siding, and my door. That's what's the matter.
Relief Windows can fix all of that. I got you. Pop, pop. What's up?
Oh my gosh, look!
Curb appeal. That's a good-looking neighborhood. ReliefWindows.com.
When is a taco more than just a taco? When it's Government Taco. Voted best tacos 3 years in a row by 225 Magazine, Government Taco puts the most delicious spin on tacos the capital area has ever seen. With creative combinations like the Magna Carrot, the Filibuster, or the Steak of the Union. Plus perfect tortilla chips paired with the best salsa and queso you've ever had. And happy hour every day from 3 to 6 p.m. and all day on Thursday. Government Taco, 5621 Government Street.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary, for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans. There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary, for those willing to go further, like vans custom.
Matt Moscona inviting you to join us for Wednesday's Hump Day AFR, presented by Pluckers. We'll deep dive into LSU, Tennessee, and the rest of the CWS field. And it's a Whiskey Wednesday. Join us 3 to 6, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
All-Star Toyota presents Off the Bench with Hester and T-Bob. ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria, and 1130 The Tiger.
What's happening, y'all? Welcome back to OTB Flestering, rolling right along here. And, well, we were talking 1-inch punch before the break. Man, if you haven't seen this video,
He's
Jake,
a
watch
1-inch
this,
king, right?
Watch this. This is a true 1-inch king right here. There's some random YouTube channel I subscribed to the other day. I don't know what it is. I don't know the name of it. It's all in an Asian language. I don't know what language it is. But watch this. Watch this video. Prepare not to be Okay, tell me you're not a little impressed, Jake.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's quick. Very quick. Very impressive.
Oh, boy, just punched through 4 bricks 1 inch.
Yeah.
Quicker than you could blink.
I think he punched through the one, and then the
I
one
think, yeah, domino.
tumbled
Even
through
tighter.
the other.
Domino situation.
Even tighter.
I'd rather get hit with that than the 6-inch punch. You know, you got more. You get more.
Well, yeah, I mean, more
behind it,
distance.
you know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, if you can punch
More
like that
force.
from 1 inch, you probably really throw some power behind 6 inches.
It is very impressive.
That's what I've
But
heard.
how you can't really use that in a real life situation.
Oh, I disagree, dude.
I mean,
think
unless
it's
someone's
almost
like
more useful.
someone's like tied up in a.
Hey.
No, you
I'm
just
just
back up.
closing that gap.
Yeah, so no, okay, so what if I'm like back up, ah! And the next thing you know, you like fly back.
I think you can only use it if someone's like in a torture, like a tied to a chair situation.
Yeah.
That's the dumbest thing I've ever heard.
Yeah, because as soon as you put your hands
It's
on me,
literally
at all, like I'm grabbing.
it's literally like
before you
the
had
Like, you
one-
can't sit there and then
Yeah.
he's like this, and he's like, and he
Yeah.
pulls it back.
No, he didn't. No, okay. Oh my
He
God.
did pull it back.
He did pull it back.
Literally
Okay,
pulled it back in the
because
film.
of the demonstration. I think y'all, first off, y'all are way too married to the idea that he has to have his fingertip on there. Okay, I don't think he has to be like,
That's what he
back
just
off,
did, though.
Bro.
back off.
Did you
he
not
can be like
watch-
this and just as easily go, and y'all are tripping, dude. That's actually a very, to me, realistic self-defense move, right
No,
there.
that's
Okay,
not
okay,
practical.
you're right. So you would rather this. You would rather this. Go ahead. We're not going to play this one with sound because there's no point in playing sound. But what you're saying is that this man is better suited to teach you self-defense. If you're listening to radio, this is Steven Seagal in
Look at
all
this.
black.
Oh boy.
This
Look at
is
that.
in Russia. He's teaching how to defend against multiple opponents and this is at like a real martial arts competition here. Seagal with his all black gi on, his black belt, looking so fat and tired, and
What do you think those
this
what do you
labored
think
breathing.
those Russian kids like on the watching are thinking?
No, dude. First off, they're like, who is this guy, and why are we supposed to be impressed with what he's doing? I mean, come on. See, it's a wrist lock. You just don't get it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Maybe
That's
he's
what
just
you don't
going
understand.
slow so everyone sees exactly what he's doing.
Okay, because unlike the 1-inch punch, which was so fast that we couldn't see anything.
Exactly.
Now you just easily see. This is my favorite. Yeah.
So these guys travel with him, right? They're his stuff.
I mean,
they're the generals to his Globetrotters. Yeah.
Yeah, it feels like this is It feels like
there's
this is choreographed.
Look how many people are in the stands.
No, that's what I'm saying. This is a real ass
This
martial
is
arts competition
It's a
in Russia.
halftime show.
Yeah, he's like Red Panda.
Good.
Red Panda, but for
Yes.
Thank you, Steven, for all the incredible
He had
lessons.
too much.
And put the slides back on.
Yeah.
Avo, how did Seagal not kill that guy? I know. Well, it's because he took some out. If he had gone full bore, you'd have had 2 deaths in your hand, and you can't have that.
To the question I asked earlier for him to break, and I'm taking Bruce Willis out of this because Bruce would probably be the answer. Jean-Claude Van Damme, Arnold Schwarzenegger, Sylvester Stallone, and Steven Seagal.
Let's start with worst. Let's start with worst first. I think it's probably easy to tier it that way.
Best fighter, I'm saying Jean-Claude.
Okay.
I think the worst actors probably
Got to be Steven Seagal, right?
Him or Jean-Claude?
Him or Jean-Claude.
Him or Jean-Claude.
Yeah.
Also,
I'll go with Steven because I think Steven's gotten even worse as time has gone on. Where Jean-Claude Van
y'all
Damme's
even
actually
under siege?
probably gotten better.
Did y'all see this? Did y'all see the show Lawman where he was the cop in Jefferson Parish?
Steven Seagal?
I did
No.
not.
Oh yeah,
I missed that one.
Oh my god!
I might need a Lawman
You
clip
have to
next
go back and
time.
watch that show. It's excellent.
I might need a Steven Seagal Lawman clip.
I mean, Jean-Claude got pretty good, but Jean-Claude has the best movie of all the 4 in Bloodsport.
Well, what
I
are
mean,
Rockies? You know.
Okay, yeah, you're right.
I
You got
think
Rockies,
that's on me. That's on me.
You got Terminators for Arnold.
Yeah, I know, but
I'm going
I've
Arnold
watched
as best
Bloodsport
actor.
more
Though.
than
I'm gonna go Sly.
I'm going Arnold. I think Sly probably has more awards.
I mean, last actually,
yeah,
he was
I'm going
nominated
Sly
for an
for
Oscar for Best Actor, if I'm not mistaken. I know Rocky was up for
But
Best
I love
Movie.
the range of Arnold. Comedic, action. He can do it all. Romance.
You know, that's a good point.
True
too.
Lies is badass.
Like
And
Jingle
so
All
is
the
Last
Way.
Action Hero.
Yeah, he
Last
did.
Action Hero is great.
Kindergarten Cop.
All right, I'm gonna go. Hey, you've convinced
I mean,
me.
Sly's got what? Throw Mama from a Train.
What? That's a movie?
Yeah.
What?
Throw
Yeah.
Mama?
He's
Don't
also
throw Mom
he's
for a
also in the
train.
Rambo movies.
It's
Ah,
the
yeah.
sequel. Grandma got
So
run over by a
true.
reindeer.
I don't think so.
The
Rambo
holiday
and
version?
Rocky.
Rambo and Rocky. You
That's
kidding me?
hard.
Yeah, and arm wrestling.
The
Oh.
Rambo that came out
I
so
mean, over the
good.
top.
Cliffhanger, right?
A cliffhanger.
Mhm.
Over the top. That's where Bull Hurley. That's
Dr. Dredd.
Bull
Is
Hurley
that right?
is from Over the Top.
That's true.
Yeah.
The Rambo HD that came out in 2010 was actually pretty tight too.
That Death Count was
Yes.
incredible.
Yes,
It was unbelievable.
I mean,
Is that
Demolition
when he
Man.
went to Burma?
I
Is that
don't
the
know.
one?
They
I
were
think
in,
it was.
just some foreign environment where he's killing a bunch of natives.
Oh yeah, so and then there was another one after that where he was
Classic
killing
Rambo stuff.
everybody in like New Mexico or something like that.
I just remember he had a bow and was like mowing, and then he hopped on the 50 cal at one
Yeah,
point.
that was in Burma.
It was just mowing people down.
Dude, he was deadly with that bow.
He was.
But then there was another one after that. That was the final Rambo. It was at his home.
His home, and he had like a bunker
It was
under his house, right?
It was
A
like
lot
a
of people in
cartel situation happening.
A lot of people in chat are calling for. A lot of people in chat are calling for Chuck Norris to be on this list as well for 90s action
It just
heroes.
didn't.
I mean, but like
They didn't have the movies.
Sidekicks.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. I feel
He
you.
didn't have the movies like we're throwing out there. Like Walker, Texas Ranger has a place in my heart.
I mean, I
Doesn't
do
have the
respect that he
movies.
wasn't a Bruce Lee movie though.
I wonder
respect that.
who's better, Chuck Norris fighting wise, Chuck Norris or Jean Claude?
I mean, we have a comment
know what to
inside.
do.
In
Also, Chuck
Gulf
Norris
South,
had the Total Gym, which probably had a bigger cultural impact than
Yeah.
anything we're talking about.
Gulf
NBA
South
was-
says Joe Rogan has talked about Seagal, saying he really is an accomplished martial artist. It's just a form of martial arts that is not widely
No,
used.
look, I don't doubt
Yeah,
that.
sure.
He's definitely a black belt, right? Multiple degrees. Like he has a thing, but he's also gotten lazy and
Let's
fat
say
and is
he-
clearly trading off of his superstardom there.
Let's say he was a black belt and they can't take it away.
Yeah, they can't, exactly. You don't get recertified. At least I don't
Yeah,
think you do.
yeah.
Yeah, Wesley Snipes is a good one maybe to throw in this one
True.
as well.
Blade.
I have a Wesley
Murder
Snipes blind spot.
1600, Blade. I love Blade. All the Blades.
I gotta
great.
watch
US
like
Marshals.
Demolition Man, right? Isn't he?
Yeah,
Isn't
That's
that
with
what
Sly
it is?
as well. That's a great one.
You
You
can
actually
watch
would
Demolition
like.
Man.
You would like that a lot.
I know. I've heard I would. I need to. All right. When we get back, let's close out Flestering.
Off the bench with Hester and T-Bob.
All-Star Toyota, BatonRouge.com. All-Star Toyota of BatonRouge.com. You want to get hit in the face with the deal that has the power of the 1-inch punch? Well, it's all there for you. Of an airline highway, okay? Incredible savings to be had at allstartoyotabatonrouge.com. You're a recent graduate, military member. They always got excellent deals for you. Go check it out all online. Look at the selection. They got new cars coming in daily. If you're looking to sell or trade, it remains a great market in which to do so, and then turn around and get yourself something new. Camry, Tundra, it don't matter. It's all there for you at All-Star Toyota of Baton Rouge.
Yeah, maybe you're going on vacation, maybe you're going to the beach, maybe you're going to the Houston area to slang my high. I don't know where you're going, but if you want to rent a Toyota because you need some more space, well, go do it. Per-day rental prices on the website, great per-day rental prices, and the full fleet is available. So bigger, smaller, better on gas mileage, whatever it might be. Go check that out today. The website, allstartoyotabatonrouge.com, allstartoyotabatonrouge.com.
The real funny part is
Our listeners fire off their opinions on the jimsfirearms.net hotline at 499-1045. Keep listening for your next chance to shoot us your thoughts with the jimsfirearms.net hotline on 1045 ESPN Baton Rouge.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Oh, hey, what's up? It's Big D and Bubba, 100.7 The Tiger Morning Show. We'd love for you to join us every weekday, 4 a.m. till 9 a.m.
Yeah, everything you want in a show. Country music. We got laughs. We got celebrity in-studio guests. We just need you.
Join us every weekday morning, 4 a.m. to 9 a.m., right where it all started.
That's right. Louisiana's country station, 100.7 The Tiger.
Bayou Ford has up to $7,000 off MSRP plus 0% financing on new 23 Ford F-150 XLT trucks and incredible deals on all remaining 2022 inventory. All with Bayou's 1 million mile warranty. The crew at Bayou Ford is going to do right by you.
Hey there, little buddy. What's the matter?
What's the matter? My windows, siding, and my door. That's what's the matter.
Relief Windows can fix all of that. I got you. Pop, pop. What's up?
Oh my gosh, look!
Curb appeal. That's a good-looking neighborhood. ReliefWindows.com.
When is a taco more than just a taco? When it's Government Taco. Voted best tacos 3 years in a row by 225 Magazine, Government Taco puts the most delicious spin on tacos the capital area has ever seen. With creative combinations like the Magna Carrot, the Filibuster, or the Steak of the Union. Plus perfect tortilla chips paired with the best salsa and queso you've ever had. And happy hour every day from 3 to 6 p.m. and all day on Thursday. Government Taco, 5621 Government Street.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's
Jimmy Ott and Charles Hanegraaff for the Wednesday edition of Live at Lunch. We're live at Roca Pizzeria on Government Street in Mid-City. It's Live at Lunch, Wednesday, 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. from Roca on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
All-Star Toyota presents Off the Bench with Hester and T-Bob. ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria, and 1130 The Tiger.
I don't think I've ever seen a Bruce Lee movie. Ever, actually, before. Old Mayo talking about, I've seen Bruce fight Kareem. I don't know what movie it was in. And then I've seen the scene of Bruce fighting Chuck Norris, but again, I don't know what movie it's in. Tower of Death? Is that the Kareem one?
I have no idea.
I just remember I feel like I vaguely know the story. I think he's like battling his way up a building, basically, and then he gets to the top, and there's like Kareem, and he's got, he looks like the old Street Fighter character, Dulcie. You know, the one that could stretch? Like that looks like Kareem doing martial arts. And that's the second Kareem mention of the day.
Yeah, I don't know if I've seen a Bruce Lee movie either. I've seen clips of them, and I've seen the documentary about him and all his movies. Yeah, and I've seen the made-for-TV movie.
Made-for-TV was good.
Like, that was back when made-for-TV movies were making some bomb movies.
Yeah. Brian's song.
Yeah.
So sad.
Temptations movie.
Yeah. There's a Titanic one. I did not know about. Before the Kate Winslet Leo Titanic, there was like a made-for-TV Titanic movie.
Luck of the Irish.
There's a new Arnold series
Double
on
Team.
Netflix called Fubar.
Yep.
And if it wasn't for Jimbo Fisher, I would have no idea. But he yelled it so many times. I'm like, does this playbook have any rules at all? Because every time you get up here, you say Fubar.
It's a Fubar.
Yeah.
I had to explain to my wife what a Fubar meant.
I had to explain to Katie what it meant.
Motocross.
We can put it in the huddle. We can say what it means in the huddle.
I know what the acronym stands for.
Yeah, not many people do, I feel
but not many people.
It's a military one originally, right?
Yes. Sounds like it should be.
Yes.
Yeah.
Which has pretty dark origins there.
Always used it.
So what did it mean in the football context? Like a play was busted or something?
Yes, like it did not match up with the rules that we had for every other protection. Like this protection, just this one Fubar that, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, Jimbo, like, do we have rules?
Yeah, because he didn't use it in a negative term, which kind of goes against the acronym.
Yes.
A little bit, but
yeah, he used it just as one for your memory bank.
DrinkMyHigh.com, DrinkMyHigh.com, DrinkMyHigh.com.
Hydrate. Bench with Hester and T-Bob.
I drove myself to the ER, had heart surgery, and drove myself home 24 hours later, feeling fine. Starting running again after the procedure, I'm getting excited thinking about it. I had no pain, nothing. I felt great. And right then and there, I was like, oh my God, I'm back. I'm back. It's just amazing.
Ochsner Health. Long live you.
This summer, retirement is a state of mind. Whether it's a mid-morning activity or an early bird special, grab a Coors Light and chill like you're retired.
Follow us on Twitter at 1045ESPN to cast your vote in the Citizens Bank and Trust Poll of the Day. Vote daily inside Off the Bench, live at lunch on Palmer. And after further review, Citizens Bank and Trust brings you the Poll of the Day via Twitter at 1045ESPN.
Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram has $25,000 off new 22 Ram 1500 SCA trucks and incredible deals on all remaining 2022 inventory, all with Bayou's 1 million mile warranty. The crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
Turn my music high, 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 yeah. You don't know what you're doing. Sure I do. I'm from the streets where the hood can swallow on me. Bullets will follow on me. There's so much that you could run the slalom. And cops comb this top to bottom. They say that we are prone to violence, but it's home sweet home. With personalities clashing, chrome meets chrome. Prices up and down like this Wall Street.
Hey there, little buddy. What's the matter?
What's the matter? My windows, siding, and my door. That's what's the matter.
Relief Windows can fix all that. I got you. Pop, pop. What's up?
Oh my gosh, look.
Curb appeal. That's a good-looking neighborhood. ReliefWindows.com.
When is a taco more than just a taco? When it's Government Taco. Voted best tacos 3 years in a row by 225 Magazine, Government Taco puts the most delicious spin on tacos the capital area has ever seen. With creative combinations like the Magna Carrot, the Filibuster, or the Steak of the Union. Plus perfect tortilla chips paired with the best salsa and queso you've ever had. And happy hour every day from 3 to 6 p.m. and all day on Thursday. Government Taco, 5621 Government Street.
The best kept secret in town is out. Discover Tallulah at the Renaissance Hotel on Bluebonnet.
Good morning, everybody. It is 9 a.m. on Wednesday, June 14th. Today in Baton Rouge, expect sunny skies with a high of 95. Coming up on OTBOT, former Saints linebacker Scott Shanley joins the show up next. You can follow today's show on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok at OTB_ESPN, or catch us on YouTube at the 1045 ESPN channel and subscribe for daily content. OTBOT, live from the Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge studio, starts now.
All-Star Toyota presents Off the Bench with Jacob Hester and T-Bob Hebert.
Yeah.
Off the Bench with Hester and T-Bob.
Hey, they said I got to come off the bench.
All-Star Toyota presents Off the Bench with Hester and T-Bob. Yo.
Yo, what's happening, y'all? Welcome in hour number 3. Shout out Matt Flynn for bringing us a little flaster in there in hour number 2. No, I've never seen a Bruce Lee movie. I apologize, Anthony Archfield. I know. Blind spot for sure. Gulf South says Hallmark Channel got the made-for-TV movie game on lock now, to which Ben Levy says, I consider myself a movie buff, film buff, which is how you know he's real. But you could inject Hallmark Christmas movies directly into my veins. Actually, so I've only seen a couple episodes of the new Ted Lasso season, Jake, but that is probably the most accurate and funny joke that I've seen thus far in the season, is when they're trying to explain, we got Scott on the phone right now, I forgot. They're trying to explain Hallmark movies to Roy Kent or whatever, and he's like, they suck, but they're good. But they mostly suck, but they're actually kind of mostly awesome. And they're really good without the volume. And that's basically exactly how I would describe it. We keep them on 24/7. What about you, Scott? Are you a big Hallmark movie guy?
I'm not, but it's supposed to be a rainy day here. I'm thinking about just channel flipping and ending up on some Hallmark channel.
How about this, Scott? You may not realize this, but right now you are actually joining Corn Hub with T-Cobb and Husker. We are the South's premier Nebraska football show. I try to a few times a week give Corn Hub kernels of the day to my audience. I am a Matt Rule believer. I'm a Nebraska believer. Help me out here. Am I wrong, Scott? Because from where I sit, I see one of the most legendary programs in football history that was good for over 100 years, and for whatever reason, because just maybe a decade of finding itself, everybody just thinks Nebraska can never be good again, which is ridiculous, especially in the age of NIL. Am I wrong?
No, you're not wrong. I think for people who grew up and watched Nebraska, especially I grew up in Nebraska, I saw them win national championships, made me want to play there. Can they get back to that level of dominance is, I think, the question. That could be hard. I think getting back to being respectable, being a top 25 program is step number one. I think that's attainable. I think the one thing a lot of people don't give enough credit to and why Nebraska has struggled is the move to the Big Ten. I hated it from the beginning. I understand money talks, and they made the move because of the TV network money.
Yeah.
And it's been great as far as that goes. But if you talk to anybody who's been a part of that program for the last 10 years, recruiting struggled. Recruiting Texas and these other hubs that they really set up in when they were dominant in the Big 12 took a huge hit. So now maybe with USC and UCLA and these other teams joining the Big 10, Nebraska becomes center of the conference. I think recruiting gets a little easier. You recruit the entire nation now because your conference is national. And so I think that can be a huge reason why Nebraska gets back to being respectable.
Well, and in the age of NIL, Scott, how I feel is that passion, right? Like emotional buy-in nowadays becomes economic buy-in. And where does Nebraska sit in terms of NIL resources, right? Because we all know the fans are obsessed. Like even with all the struggles, still selling out every game.
Yeah,
like
still showing up.
Like the Husker Nation is as powerful as ever. Warren Buffett's one of that number. I'm still trying to get my guy to convince, to maybe donate a little more. But like, how are they doing on the resource front now that they can overcome maybe some of those recruiting hurdles by just saying, hey, we'll pay you?
Yeah, absolutely. It's a great point. I mean, when you take a kid on a recruiting trip in Lincoln, Nebraska, there's no beaches. You're probably going to be in snow if you're in there in November. Your biggest resource is the fan base. And to your point, they have not won very much over the last 10 years. Haven't played in a big bowl game. Haven't played well in a big spot on a national TV game. But yet they keep selling out every single week. And Nebraska football, that's what they have. So when you talk about NIL, I think some publication did a ranking of college football programs and where the NIL sits with that program. And Nebraska was in the top 3, I think, as far as what NIL means. Nebraska fans will do anything to get back to what they were in the 90s. So the NIL is a huge gift for Nebraska. You can put together great pots to get kids from Florida and California and all over the place to come play in front of the Big Red and be a part of a program that was once dominant.
Hey, Scott, before we move on to the Saints, I want to ask you about Matt Rule. Obviously, he's got a history of building back programs. He did it at Temple. He did it at Baylor. And look, the NFL is a different beast, but he comes back to college football. He's got a track record. I mean, Baylor was broken when he takes that school over. Nebraska's not there. So having that track record, knowing kind of who he is and who would have wanted Matt Rule if he was available, how do you feel about him being the Cornhuskers head coach?
I don't know how sold I am on Matt Rule. Maybe some of my jadedness is towards what I saw in Carolina because that was an absolute train wreck. And I know it's way different. I will admit that. NFL and college football, way different world. So if he can get Nebraska back, I'm starting to lean a little bit more towards the Matt Rule supporters because what I've seen in recruiting, the type of guys he's getting on campus, what people are saying after they visit with him, I'm like, hey, if Matt Rule, if all these recruits can't be wrong, listen to them talk about what they see with him and his staff after visiting, I'm hoping they can turn it around.
Yeah, bro, they were finalists for Raiola. Like, I know Georgia ended up getting him, but he's changing him. I'm a believer, man. I think it's a matter of a couple of years before we're talking to Nebraska being relevant once again. Now winning championships, that's obvious. I mean, in a world where Georgia and Alabama exist, whatever, it's always going to be an uphill battle. But I do think we're going to be talking about Nebraska being back near the top of the Big Ten. But only time will tell. As far as the New Orleans Saints go, Scott, it's kind of interesting because they too are looking to climb back a bit. Let me ask you a kind of a bird's eye view question here, because there was a lot of debate over this offseason of is it the right strategy for the Saints to go after a win now approach, right? Because you have Bill Barnwell at ESPN talking about how that's why he graded their offseason so poorly, because he thinks, yeah, sure, they got better. Maybe they're going to win the South, but what are they ultimately going to win, blah, blah. Do you think the Saints should have rebuilt, or did they do the correct thing in trying to get as good as possible for this season?
I definitely, if you can win now, if you're a few pieces away, if you're 5 guys away and you can go fix it in free agency, I think you try to win. Because the one thing we've learned about Mickey Loomis and the Saints, and since Sean Payton got there in 2006, every year is a win now mode. There's never been a time where you sit there and say, yeah, this is a waste year. How fun is that if you're part of the Who Dat Nation, you're part of a Saints fan base, and just to say, nah, we're taking this year off? No, that's not what this organization is about. They're about, if they can win, they're going to try to win. Every single time they go out and they sign somebody, they draft somebody, they get a new coach, it's can they help us win now? That's the NFL. It's the business of winning. Why would you try not to win?
Well, obviously, I mean, they're trying. I mean, they're making moves. They're signing, Foster Moreau. They're signing Derek Carr. They're making some of those moves. So what, Scott, do you think of those moves? Obviously, last year, Andy Dalton was the quarterback after Jameis started the season. Now you've got Derek Carr. What do you think about the move to bring him in and kind of go all in with him?
Well, I love the move, and I love it for multiple reasons, especially when you look at the NFL, you look at the divisions you play in. You play all those teams twice, and you start looking around the NFC South. Tom Brady's gone. Matt Ryan's gone. No Cam Newton. Carolina's starting over the rookie quarterback, who I think can be a pretty good player, but they're going to have to protect him. They're going to have to put good players around him early on. Atlanta, do they have a quarterback? They have some good pieces. Terry Fontenot, who was a Saints front office exec, now he's a GM for the Falcons, has done a good job. But quarterback is young. And if you want to see how Tampa Bay's doing after Tom Brady, go YouTube Kyle Trask and Baker Mayfield competition and look at some of those throws. So from all those perspectives, your first job in the NFL is to win your division. You win your division, you're hosting a playoff game.
Yep.
Right or wrong, you can be 7-9, you're hosting a playoff game. So I think Derek Carr gives you should be winning the NFC South. You have the best quarterback. You have the most experienced quarterback. You have the best roster. So you should be winning the NFC South and hosting a playoff game. So that just goes back to my other point. Why would you be in win now mode? Because your division is probably as down as it's been in a while.
Well, and Scott, I feel like it's uber important for the Saints. If you just look at franchise history, I think there's a lot of value for them being able to prove that they can win outside of the Breeze Payton era, right? Like it needs to feel like you're not going to immediately fall back to wearing bags over your heads or being the Aints. And this year, you seem really well positioned to do so. I want to ask you about the defense. Obviously, it's side of the ball that you know inside and out. And last year's defense was like a mixed bag where statistically by the end of the year, okay, actually the numbers are really good, but they kind of never felt uber threatening or imposing. How do you evaluate the Saints defense from last season and going forward into this year?
Yeah, I think the Saints defense was a little disappointing last year. We've gotten so used, I would say the last 5 years, of seeing a dominant defense on the field, especially against, they played as good against Tom Brady as anybody in the NFL. So we just got used to seeing that team and saying, well, why did that team not show up this week? I think what happened last year's defense was, and I hate when people throw injuries out in the NFL. Everybody has injuries. But when you're missing guys like Marshawn Lattimore and you're getting thin along the defensive line, and Pete Warner missed a bunch of games who was playing really well. So they had injuries. But I think more than that is the Saints offense was so abysmal that it affects you defensively.
True.
When you're playing a lot of snaps and your offense isn't converting third downs, and it's demoralizing. And you can feel that. No different than there were games where we didn't play well in defense and the offense is scoring 45 points and getting into shootouts. So it's all part of winning. Not everybody's going to show up every single week or every single year. The offense didn't show up much last year, and I think that really affected the defense.
Scott, when you take a look at this roster, and obviously there's questions, what's the biggest question for you, though? Is it on the offensive line? Is it pass rush? Is it, middle linebacker, a position you know very well? Where do you kind of say, okay, well, I still like to see something from this group?
Yeah, I always start in the trenches. I think last year, the offensive line, we saw so many injuries. We saw guys who are third, fourth string, guys signing off the street starting on Sundays. So I think this offensive line needs to get back to what they were the last 3 or 4 years, where they were one of the top units in the league, controlling the line of scrimmage. If you can do that, the Derek Carr signing, all those other things, the pieces at wide receiver, the running back position, all those things take care of themselves on the offense. Because I think, I'll go back to the division comparison. I think the Saints are as good as any other team in the division offensively at every single position. And defensively, you can say the same thing. More needs to be done in the pass rush. The Saints have put a lot of time and effort into addressing somebody besides Cam Jordan getting after the quarterback. And I think that is the biggest problem that the Saints have had on defense the last couple of years and will be this year.
Yeah, like where is Peyton Turner? I mean, it's like the exact same question that we asked about Marcus Davenport for years. Now, eventually he flashed, but then just took an immediate step back. So I don't know. I mean, maybe Granderson will. What about their secondary though, Scott? Because from what I'm reading, that group actually looks like it could be potentially one of the best groupings in the NFL. There's a lot of Alontae Taylor to hype coming out right now. Even then, it looks like maybe Bradley Roby set to play, be the number one at nickel, and then Taylor and Adebo kind of fighting for opposite of Lattimore. And then, of course, you got May and Matthew at safety. That feels like it has the potential to be one of the better groups in the league.
Yeah, and they need to be, because if you look at – I'll just go back to 2006 under Sean Payton. The years where the Saints have been the best, have had the best teams, is when the secondaries played the best.
Yeah.
And, early on when we were there, we played the Bears in year one and lost in the NFC Championship game. Our secondary was not very good. They fixed the secondary, added pieces, Jabari Greer, drafted Tracy Porter.
Yeah.
Roman Harper playing at Pro Bowl level.
Yeah.
So they fixed the secondary, and you saw a lot of things change. So the guys you mentioned are certainly talented enough to have one of the most dominant secondaries in the league. Now it just comes down to, can you go out there and can you be multiple on defense? Because Dennis Allen has been very multiple, and when he can play zone and he can play man and he can get exotic in his fronts and looks, if you have a defense who can do that, you don't have to just play cover 2 and cover 3. You can really get after people. So I think this secondary, the experience they have, the talent level they have to just lock people up on the outside, you'll see a lot of different looks defensively.
Hey, last one, Scott, before we let you go. You mentioned Sean Payton a couple of times. Obviously, your head coach, longtime head coach for the Saints, now going to be the head coach for the Denver Broncos. So, how do you think, initially, obviously they went all in with Russ last year, didn't work out. Hackett didn't make it through a full season. Now Sean Payton takes over. What do you think it's going to look like there in Denver?
There's going to be a huge change for sure. I'm going to admit, I texted him and told him he looks horrible in orange because it looks wrong to me. It looks so bad. He looks so much better in black and gold. It's really odd. I'll be rooting for him. But, my former teammate Zach Streep is now the offensive line coach there, so I've had a lot of fun with him, going back and forth, asking him who these guys are that they're drafting, kind of taking digs at him because I said to Zach, I was putting all of our Saints draft picks, what they're going to do, and then I put on our little group chat, I said, nobody cares what's going on in Denver. You guys play Mahomes twice a year, and he got a chuckle out of that. So they're in a very tough division.
Yeah.
But I'll say this, the one thing about Sean Payton, you saw him at his press conference. They told him about Russell Wilson and all of his trainers and all these guys in the building. And Sean looked at the media guy who asked the question and said, I don't know. I've never heard about that. But as long as I'm the head coach here, none of that will be going on. Yeah. Sean Payton will bring instant respect to the locker room. He'll treat everybody the same. And I think that'll change life and change the culture in Denver.
Yeah, Scott, only if he can stop smoking weed. Looks like he's gone native.
How did that? Yeah, I know. He's really adapting to the Mile High City. How did that not gain more traction in the life of social media on draft day?
Yeah,
and it just kind of gets swept under the rug. This guy's untouchable.
It's kind of insane, right? In an age in which Laramie Tunsil drove the news cycle thanks to a gas mask for 3 days, everybody's just like, okay, yeah. I mean, look, granted, it's probably where we should be at with weed because whatever, but still, dude, that kid, I mean, is that his son's friend, whoever that kid is, you are never allowed back.
Not a foxhole guy.
You have blown it. You could have been coming to the lake house. You could have been on the Vail trip. You could have been at top. You could have been at all this, and now you're left on the outside looking in forever.
No more private jet for his friend. He's out of the circle of trust, that's for sure.
Out of the trust tree. Scott Shanley, at Scott Shanley on Twitter, Super Bowl champ, analyst there on Your View for Saints and LSU. Scott, thank you so much, man.
Absolutely. Take care, guys.
Thanks,
go
Scott.
Huskers. Let's go, baby. Corn Hub. More OTB next.
OTB, OT. In times of need, get a full list of phone numbers, websites, and other important emergency information on the Demco Stormwatch page at 1045ESPN.com.
And vitamin therapy will come to the rescue. Plus, we have cost-saving memberships to keep you feeling rejuvenated all summer long at Lake Urgent Care Hydration and Wellness. Visit lakehydrationwellness.com for online appointments. Don't wait. Hydrate.
After further review with Matt Moscona, weekday afternoons from 3 to 6 on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
For the perfect poolside snack, grab a Smalls Party Pack. Small slider.
Hey, it's Hunt. Join me for a Wednesday edition of the Hunt Palmer Show. We'll chat with Les Johns, who covers the Wake Forest Demon Deacons, and Chris Demui on the Tigers. Hunt Palmer Show, 1 to 3 weekdays, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
.104.5 ESPN brings you live coverage from Omaha of the 2023 Men's College World Series. Charles Hannegriff and Jimmy Ott anchor our team coverage starting Thursday night at 6 p.m. and continuing Friday with a special edition of Live at Lunch at 11 a.m. Plus, we'll get you set for Tigers and Volunteers with a special pregame show Saturday at 3 p.m. Follow us as we follow the Tigers in Omaha on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
OTB, OT with Hester and T-Bob on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge and 94.7 ESPN Alexandria.
Jake, I want to get to Feinbaum saying that, not so fast to LSU fans somehow how they're going to beat Alabama this year. I want to get to some breaking news as some of the 2024 SEC schedule starting to leak. It looks like we're going to get Georgia at Bama. Or is it Bama at Georgia? One or the other. Just broke like a minute ago. But I also want to explain, so maybe talk about the very jump, Jake, which is I owe Mark Emmert an apology. As there's all this talk of federal legislation getting done for NIL and blah, 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 blah. It's really caused me to re-examine how we got here, kind of what's going on, and by extension, re-examine Mark Emmert's role in all this. And to be clear, I have crapped all over Mark Emmert in the past. I have said he was lazy, willfully.
A lot of people. It's been an easy target.
Like willfully did nothing, right? And watch this all happening. But in all of this, you know what I ended up doing? I ended up revisiting the Justice Kavanaugh letter that he sent to the NCAA. Remember when they were trying to decide the NIL stuff? And when you reread this letter, I remember at the time we were like, man, this is, this could change. This could kind of change everything. He basically said the NCAA setup's wrong. And now reading it, it really just reinforces, you can't do anything. At least not with name, image, and likeness. Right? You can maybe legislate things like students getting money from schools, being a part of the TV revenue.
Mm-hmm.
These are all battles they're going to be having. Maybe that's like right now, everybody keeps saying, okay, they're going to come up with, they're trying to fight for federal legislation for NIL. But what can you actually do in a world where Justice Kavanaugh says the NCAA is not above the law? Price-fixing labor is price-fixing labor, and price-fixing labor is ordinarily a textbook antitrust problem because it extinguishes the free market in which individuals can otherwise obtain fair compensation for their work. The current NCAA model is suppressing the pay of student athletes who collectively generate billions of dollars in revenue for colleges every single year. He basically spends the entire letter calling out how flatly illegal the NCAA setup is.
Right.
And so in all of this, what has changed? Because what I have come to realize is that our disconnect is not as much, our main disconnect comes from the fact that we bought into a system that was illegal as the right way of doing things for 100 years. So the more and more I look at this, you're never going to be able to regain what you had. You're never going to be able to get back to that amateurism or anything close to it because, quite frankly, it was broken from the original inception. We just didn't realize until a ton more money started to pour into the sport. Until suddenly athletes got famous enough to where you'd want to pay them. What federal law do you have, Jake, that tells me I can't pay some kid at LSU right now who I like to do tweets for me?
Yeah.
I don't care if he's a nobody. I could pay him $1 million.
Yeah.
And he does 2 tweets for me, and I say, that's fair. That's what I'm looking for. I got what I wanted.
Yeah, it is what someone will pay you.
So how do you cannot legislate against it? Look at Kavanaugh's letter. The second that you do, antitrust is going to be all over your ass.
Yeah.
And so it's just, so here's where I arrived that I owe an apology to Emmert. It's this last paragraph. These enormous sums of money flow to seemingly everyone except the student athletes. College presidents, athletic directors, coaches, conference commissioners, the NCAA executives take in 6- and 7-figure salaries. Colleges build new lavish facilities. But the student athletes who generate the revenues, many who are African-American from lower income backgrounds, end up with little or nothing. Here's the funny part about this all, dude. None of that changed. Only now students are getting paid as well. That's the genius of Mark Emmert. He keeps the NCAA lining its pockets. Yeah. He keeps the coaches lining its pockets. He keeps the executives lining their pockets. And you know who they don't pay? They still don't pay the students. Like, still none of that money is going to the students. And yet now the students are happy because they have a source of revenue. So he managed to thread the needle of keeping the NCAA tax, still collecting money from the basketball tournament and everything else, while at least pushing off the issue of them actually having to pay players. Like, the NCAA is not on the hook for any of it. And now they don't have to worry about any legislation. Like, it's actually astounding. Like, I don't know what the NCAA is doing in Washington, D.C. right now.
Yeah.
Be happy. You won. Everybody still accepts
that
you
your
should
issue.
exist. Yeah, and it's not even your.
And you're still making the same money.
Isn't that kind of crazy?
Yeah.
Tell me, like, you know, kind of view in a little bit of a different light now.
Yeah, I mean, when you lay it out, it is something. Gosh, I mean, they're running the basketball tournament, like you said. They're running all these events. They don't have the CFP, but they still have plenty of enough to be able to go out there and do what they want to get done, which is make money. And then it's like, hey, y'all want to deal with that issue? Y'all got it.
Yeah,
we're good.
You don't even
we're
have
good
to
over
enforce
here.
anymore.
No,
like, you don't even have to worry about recruiting or anything anymore. Violations, who cares?
Like, your enforcement office was probably like one of your biggest things as far as your budget and what you had to pay people.
Yes.
Now it's like, hey, we can cut back on that by 60%.
It's just, it's actually kind of insane. And so some of the arguments I ran into was like, well, we needed Emmert to do something, right? But they kind of did, right? They gave all the players like free meals whenever. We started, Jake, in the middle of my college, we started getting like additional monthly stipends, like if you lived off campus. And then like, obviously that seemed to increase even more and more afterwards. Cost of living adjustments, right? So they did these things, but it's the old cartoon. I think it's a Dutch cartoon where you're at the dam and there's a leak. So you plug it with a finger, but then there's another leak. So you plug that, and you can only plug for so long before you finally recognize, no, it was a structural integrity problem. And Kavanaugh's letter highlights it. The NCAA had a structural integrity problem. It was illegal from the jump.
Yeah.
And once that is called out, there is no fixing it. And I think Emmert realized that. And I think he kind of recognized.
And once you had somebody that wasn't afraid to call it out because I think it's long been known. Like, we just had Scott Shanley on, like those Nebraska players that weren't professional athletes because of the system that they played in. Like, it's long been known, like this was their best opportunity in life maybe to make a lot of money, like life-changing money, and they didn't have that. So it's long been known, but it took someone to call it out and to actually go out there and kind of put your foot down. Now it's like, you can't get anything done. Like, what can you get done? Like, I think the best case scenario is like there's some uniformity to it. Like that's the best case scenario.
So the thing is, people talk about salary cap. And it's like, well, again, we have to remember that doesn't make any sense because salary cap has nothing to do with advertising. You want to talk salary cap, we can, but that's going to come from the school or the conference. That's not going to be anything to do with business owner Joe wanting to pay a quarterback to come play there. Again, you talk about, well, now it's pay for play. Okay, but how do you litigate between what is pay for play and what's not? Because again, if I just want 2 Instagram posts from this kid and I deem that I've gotten my value, that's the free market. You may say, well, we need protections around the agents. This is something that I said yesterday before I realized I was wrong. And you have more experience in this realm than I do. So I'm like, okay, well, an NFL agent, when they're signing a contract, it's what, like 3% max, right?
Yeah.
I didn't realize, and then I'm like, maybe you change something like that because some of these agents, these kids are rapacious right now. Like they're taking 15, 20%, but then I don't know if this is true in your experience, but Murray told me when it comes to marketing deals that agents do get 15 to 20%.
Yeah.
See? So even that, I'm like, okay, never mind. I'm wrong there as well. So what are we actually trying to legislate? And what can you?
Yeah. I don't know that you can.
I don't think you can.
The thing that I would like to see is every state kind of have the same rules, because I do think there's advantages, disadvantages. Some states are going to be more, like Louisiana actually has done a nice job of supporting the student athletes, but that's not the case everywhere. And so, like, having conversations with Commissioner Sankey, like, that's something he wants too, because you've got now 16 teams that are going to be in the SEC, all coming from, for the most part, different states, and there's a different set of rules. And so can you even do it from a conference level? Hey, here's what we're going to do in the Southeastern Conference. Now, it's still going to be for the players, but here's some uniformity to it where if you're playing the SEC, can you do that? Like, that's even a conversation.
See, but here's where it gets a bit too over my head is what even are the rules, though, right? Because even here we've seen on the local level, Jake, that state laws immediately become impossible to enforce. Right? Remember the original draft? Now, this has changed, but in the original legislation, it was all about how now you can't be a booster and pay, but you can be a business and pay.
Yeah.
Okay, but what's the difference?
Yeah.
And
same thing.
how do you
same
discern?
people? It's the same people.
And how do you can't.
Yeah.
You literally I'm sorry, Mark Emmert. I get it now. You're like the NCAA's warrant was sealed, or death warrant was sealed when Kavanaugh sent that letter. And when they got ruled against. They were asking for an exception to antitrust laws. They got shut down, and that's when the jig was finally up for the NCAA.
I was thinking, T-Bob and I had the pleasure of going and talking with some official visitors a couple of weeks ago now, and I was sitting there thinking, even in that, how different it was. Oh, because used to, like, I would come back from the NFL during my bye week, and there'd be recruits, and they'd be like, hey, just make sure, like, this group right here, like, if they you can't stop and talk to them.
Oh,
Do you remember that?
Yes,
like, it used to be that bad. Like, hey, you gotta. I'm like, wait a minute, what? Like, you got to go into the other end of the field. There's recruits here. We don't want. And
they were
now
worried we were going to get in trouble when me and Jordy were speaking at like halftime of an LSU basketball game, and we announced that John Emery had committed because he had just committed, and we got yelled at because we thought that technically it was a recruiting violation.
Yeah.
Like, what are we talking about?
I think about now. It's like now, yeah, we can go in. We can tell them our stories. We can kind of give them advice and do different things. So there's a lot of things that didn't make sense for a long time that now at least you are doing. So it's not all bad things. Like, all this change isn't bad. There's some things, without question, have to be cleaned up and looked at. But what can you truly do to look at them and clean them up?
Well, and that's the other thing. I actually don't. That's the funniest part about it. I don't care that players are paid. Like, I get what Dion and others are talking about. For some kids, it will be overwhelming, and unfortunately, it will end up being a net negative. But for the vast majority of kids, it's a net positive. And Dion's like, well, but I want him to get the NFL bag because that's where the real money comes in. Fair, but 99% of them aren't getting the bag, right? So if
the NFL too, T-Bob, to that point, I was fortunate to play 6 years in the NFL. I work every day.
Yeah, exactly, right? Like, you got a bag, a relative bag.
Yeah,
but like Dion, like the people that are going to make what Dion's talking about, like the real
like
crazy money, or
10%ers maybe in the, like, I know NFLer like Ben Hartsock, my co-host. He played 10 years in the NFL.
10 years.
Ben works every day.
Yeah.
Right, and so yes, it's great money. It can set you up. It can create a foundation. But there's times in college, like you and I talk about all the time. I think I would have made more. You would have made.
I would be making way more money than I am now in college. Yeah, for sure.
I don't think there's any question. I mean, me and Craig Stelch have had this conversation. Craig played 7 years in the NFL. Would have made more at LSU probably.
Yeah.
So there's like, even if you make it to that next level, which not everybody does.
Surfer boy.
Right?
You'd have been a marketing dream that year.
Without question. He's All-American, led the country in picks.
So I guess the point of this all is, Mark Emmert, I feel like an a-hole because I've come out with, and I thought I sounded so smart, and even now I think I do, and maybe I sound like an idiot for reasons I'm not realizing. I'm open to that, but I really went in on Emmert in the past, and now I kind of see where he was coming from in all of this. But I don't know. There was somebody the other day who's kind of well connected that was trying to tell me that he thinks some sort of bipartisan deal is actually going to get done in D.C. What form it takes, I don't know. We'll wait and see. But I'm not. I'm very.
If it does get done, like, what does that look like in the courts after that, though?
Yeah, exactly. And like, what is it actually doing? Is it going to be like a going through the motions? Hey, look, we made a rule, but then you read it and you're like, okay, wait, actually, this doesn't do much of anything, or will it be something actually a bit more challenging? I doubt it, but time will tell. Anyway, sorry, Mark.
Yeah, and one of the things, and I know a lot of people view it this way, and obviously we're going to be biased towards the other way. But a lot of people, like student athletes, already get so many advantages because the meals, the room and board, the books, the whole deal. Yeah, I understand that. I understand there's advantages. Like, and my scholarship check was, I think I got $500 a month for housing. It wasn't enough to pay barely half the rent after Hurricane Katrina because of the housing market. My wife had to drop out of school, make up the rest of the rent. So it's not everything that you think that it is. Now that's changed. That has certainly changed. I'm just talking about my experience. And also, like normal students do have it tough, but you kind of forget athletes are normal students as well. Like, there's still the pressure of passing your test and going to class and making your grades. And
so I agree with all of that, and those are all arguments. But how about this? It's the free market.
Yeah.
Okay? That's the entire point of what the Supreme Court is saying. If somebody wants to pay you, you can't stop him. It's just, that's how America works. It's literally what American capitalism was founded on. Free market ideas, the invisible hand, and all of that. And so, yeah, that's exactly what college football is now. You have to just trust that invisible hand is going to have the market kind of settle out and regulate itself. So, yeah, screw that. I don't care if athletes have gold-plated toilets and ride to class on hovercraft, right, and never lift a finger. I don't care if somebody does all their homework for them. It doesn't matter. If somebody wants to pay them, they get to pay them.
I'd love the Marty McFly hovercraft if that was a real thing.
That'd be so sick, dude.
Yeah.
It'd be incredible.
It would. I'll just take the shoes.
Even though after I fell skateboarding a few times recently, I don't know, dude.
I think you fall, though, right? I mean, yeah, you're getting a little higher.
You could definitely fall, bro.
Yeah. It's a balance issue.
Oh, we got a break. All right. More OTB coming up next.
You got to do nothing.
OTB. OT.
AllStarToyotaBatonRouge.com. AllStarToyotaBatonRouge.com. Your stop for your next car. I feel like I set that up like it was going to rhyme.
I was waiting for the flow. I was going to give you a beat.
Yeah, no, it didn't do anything. But you know who always does something, and they do exactly what you need in terms of finding your next vehicle, is All-Star Toyota Baton Rouge. So what are you waiting for? Go see them off of Airline Highway today. Check out the deals they have, whether you're looking to buy new, used, or even rent for one of these vacations. It's all there for you at All-Star Toyota of Baton Rouge.
Yeah, once you go to the website, right now is a perfect time. Now you can buy new, like T-Bob has. You can lease like we both have, and right now incredibly happy with our leases. But if you're looking for a rental for a vacation, maybe you're going to Omaha, right? Maybe you want to carpool behind Hanny and Ott as they head to Omaha. You can go rent that Toyota Sequoia, Sienna. Hey, maybe you want to take a Tundra up to Omaha. Whatever it is, full fleet is available. AllStarToyota of BatonRouge.com.
Our listeners fire off their opinions on the JimsFirearms.net hotline at 499-1045. Keep listening for your next chance to shoot us your thoughts with the JimsFirearms.net hotline on 1045 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected. Supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
Electricity is all around us, and our families depend on it. Every day is sparked by the power of a cold drink or a warm meal, a movie night, and a comforting light at the end of a dark hallway. From sunrise to sunset, playtime to bedtime, our team is ready to take care of your electrical needs. Even in the case of an after-hours emergency, the light in your life shines brighter with Mr. Electric.
The importance of doing this Fortified program and offering it to people down here is, number one, the only real chance you're going to get to do this is when you put on a new roof or build new. And through companies like HUDCO, who's kind of leading the way in this thing, it's going to offer the customers a huge advantage in the insurance market and the price of their insurance.
You know, we're not looking to make a fortune off fortifying. We're trying to give you a better product than our competitor at the moment. I'm trying to do something that he can. I'm trying to give you something better. So a lot of these insurance shops, you're getting a re-roof, you're only paying your deductible. Let's sit down and talk about the Fortified and let's see what it does to your insurance premium. You're getting a steal.
Yeah.
You're getting a brand new roof and a Fortified certificate for your deductible, essentially. I think we're rocking and rolling.
Hey there, little buddy. What's the matter?
What's the matter? My windows, siding, and my door. That's what's the matter.
Relief Windows can fix all that. I got you. Pop, pop. What's up?
Oh my gosh, look!
Curb appeal. That's a good-looking neighborhood. ReliefWindows.com.
When is a taco more than just a taco? When it's Government Taco. Voted best tacos 3 years in a row by 225 Magazine, Government Taco puts the most delicious spin on tacos the capital area has ever seen. With creative combinations like the Magna Carrot, the Filibuster, or the Steak of the Union. Plus perfect tortilla chips paired with the best salsa and queso you've ever had. And happy hour every day from 3 to 6 p.m. and all day.
Moscona inviting you to join us for Wednesday's Hump Day AFR, presented by Pluckers. We'll deep dive into LSU, Tennessee, and the rest of the CWS field. And it's a Whiskey Wednesday. Join us 3 to 6, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
OTB OT with Hester and T-Bob on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge and 94.7 ESPN Alexandria.
Hey, big game boomer, you can suck it, okay? Put literally everybody that I work with on the list and not me for top 100 college football personalities on Twitter. Everybody that I do a show with, okay? Eat my ass, big game boomer. How about that? I'm going to be calling you big game poomer when I'm done.
I was not ready for that. I wasn't ready for
You eat
that.
so much fecal matter, you're going to be crapping my crap out of your own beehole, okay?
Where did Aaron fall on the list? Because I'm assuming
Like
Aaron.
51?
Oh, man.
Yeah. Yeah. Whole Sirius XM crew makes it.
Not everybody. Bobby didn't make it.
More like big game tumor because you're a cancer.
Bobby
on
didn't.
Twitter
Hey,
Sports.
Bobby didn't make it.
That's screwed up too. That's the professor. Show some freaking respect.
Hartsock made it.
How'd Hartsock make it over Bobby?
Hartsock's really good at other sports.
Hmm.
Really good at baseball and
I mean,
basketball.
I love Ben. The
Yeah,
Yackle.
Look, he's a Yackle, exactly.
I don't love big game boomer. I like big game
I
loser.
honestly,
That's what Oklahoma does, you bums.
I'm not just saying this because there's a lot of co-hosts I work with that weren't on the list. T-Bob, you should have certainly been on the list.
Pathetic. You know what we're going to do, though? We're going to stay in the lab getting shots up, okay? Keep grinding away here in the darkness. I got takes on takes on takes, and I got more takes coming, you sons of guns. Eat it, okay? To hold you by the back of your head and make you stay down there. Big game boomer. Get the hell out of here. Jake, we mentioned it on Snaps yesterday. But you're talking about, we have a minute. I don't know what we're going to do. I don't know. Real quick.
Oh, my God.
Paul Feinbaum pulled a not so fast, my friend, as he says that he don't really understand all these LSU fans thinking they're suddenly better than Alabama. That from where he sits, outside of quarterback, Alabama's pretty damn close to Georgia. Looks exactly like Georgia across the board. Is Paul Feinbaum wrong saying we should all pump the brakes on our Tiger hype?
Outside of the most important position in football, that's quite a statement.
That's what I said. That's doing a lot of heavy lifting. Like,
Yeah.
that's the classic. Besides that, Miss Lincoln, how's the play?
Yeah,
like, what are we talking about, dude?
It is. Look, you look at the rosters, and you could have an argument with it. Like, you can go position by position. Like, I'm taking LSU's receiver group right now.
Yep.
Over it. Like, so we can go to different groups if you want to. Like LSU, interior defensive line, LSU's got an advantage. When you look at the returning offensive line, like, it's a conversation to which one you would rather have. Like, Will Campbell might be the best of any offensive lineman in the conversation. So it's not just quarterback. Now, the conversation is going to start with quarterback. LSU's got two that I think are better than anybody on Alabama's roster. but also there's other positions. So it's something that is real. Like, they're not as close to Georgia, in my opinion, as Paul Feinbaum's making you think.
Yeah.
Like, they're like LSU and Bama's rosters are not that different.
It's like, I get what he's saying from a program standpoint, a more zoom out view. And even Brian Kelly says much. Like, Brian Kelly, talking to Feinbaum at the SEC meeting, said, look, let's be clear. We are not where Alabama and Georgia are right now. We want to get there. But like Jake is saying, this year's team, this year's roster. Now, maybe depth Alabama has an advantage just because, top to bottom. But even then, I mean, LSU's no slouch in the talent department, right? But certainly, when you look at starters, no, I think Feinbaum's off here. I would score maybe like 60-40 LSU right now going into the year. Now, does this change, Jake? What if we get to the season and Simpson ends up being a baller?
Yeah, then it's a little bit of a different conversation. But going back to it, it's not just quarterback.
Yeah, true.
Like, it's the actual roster. So, yeah, if he becomes a guy that you can count on and is a really good player, okay, LSU's got one of those guys. In fact, they got two at that position that I think are kind of in that category. And, look, there's a 1,000 different conversations we could have about this. I mentioned Will Campbell probably being the best offensive lineman. Is there a better defensive player than Harold Perkins? I don't think so. So, no, I mean, it's not just the quarterback position. You can go roster for roster. Is Alabama going to have advantages at certain positions? Yeah, they are.
You're going to have no Mason
But so
Smith,
is
though.
so is LSU. You know what I'm saying? So, and that's why the expectation is the expectation here in Baton Rouge. You just get back to Atlanta. That is like the minimum that you want to see from this football team.
Yeah. Fine, Bomber. You can catch these hands, too. Dude. Get the hell out of here, Paul. When we get back, Ask the Bench. Closing out the show. More next. OTB.
OTB. In times of need, get a full list of phone numbers, websites, and other important emergency information on the Demco Stormwatch page at 1045ESPN.com.
Oh, hey, what's up? It's Big D and Bubba, 100.7 The Tiger Morning Show. We'd love for you to join us every weekday, 4 a.m. till 9 a.m.
Yeah, everything you want in a show. Country music. We got laughs. We got celebrity in-studio guests. We just need you.
Join us every weekday morning, 4 a.m. to 9 a.m., right where it all started.
That's right. Louisiana's country station, 100.7 The Tiger.
The best kept secret in town is out. Discover Tallulah at the Renaissance Hotel on Bluebonnet.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary, for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Hey there, little buddy. What's the matter?
What's the matter? My windows, siding, and my door. That's what's the matter.
Relief Windows can fix all that. I got you. Pop, pop. What's up?
gosh, look!
Curb Appeal. That's a good-looking neighborhood. ReliefWindows.com.
Hello, Samantha, dear, I hope you're feeling fine. And it won't be long until I'm with you all the time. But until then, I spend my money up right down on my last dime. Call in Baton Rouge. I'm ready, what you put me on through. Gotta send my love down the
When is a taco more than just a taco? When it's Government Taco. Voted best tacos 3 years in a row by 225 Magazine, Government Taco puts the most delicious spin on tacos the capital area has ever seen. With creative combinations like the Magna Carrot, the Filibuster, or the Steak of the Union. Plus perfect tortilla chips paired with the best salsa and queso you've ever had. And happy hour.
Join me, Jimmy Ott and Charles Hanegraaff, for the Wednesday edition of Live at Lunch. We're live at Roca Pizzeria on Government Street in Mid-City. It's Live at Lunch, Wednesday, 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. from Roca on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
OTB OT with Hester and T-Bob on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge and 94.7 ESPN Alexandria.
What's going on, y'all? Welcome back. I'm watching Levitard, wax rhapsodic about, it's been such a great 2 months, it was so much fun, and then Stu got something that, so you're fine with second place?
Yeah.
Hell yeah, dude.
I mean, they made the
Done.
finals as an 8 seed. It was still a fun
Yeah,
run.
no, them and the Panthers both did.
Yeah.
Made the finals at 18. It should be fun, but again, it's that weird thing where we're obsessed with rings, and it's what we judge everything on. Ask the Bench, brought to you by Cold Coors Light, Vizzy Hard Seltzer, and Blue Moon Light Sky Citrus Wheat. Ask the Bench. Does Jake look a little bit like a white rapper today? Got a vibe going on.
Who's that from?
Okay. E-Gotter. I see it, though. Gold chain.
Always wear the
tight
gold
graphic
chain.
tee.
Yeah, the graphic tee,
Not
I
tight,
guess.
physically, but actually loose, but a cool
I think
graphic
loose
tee.
is what, the way
I'm
the
saying.
kids
that
do
leads
it.
more
Yeah.
into the rapping thing than tight would.
Yeah, I always wear the melon hats, though.
Yeah, a little rope chain melon hat, but it all matches. Yeah, no, you definitely have a bit of a hip-hop vibe.
I mean, look,
going
as a
on.
38-year-old, dad of soon-to-be 5, I'll take it. Feels like, maybe a youthful experience there.
Ask the Bench, who would you rather, Giannis or Jokic? It's impossible for me not to answer Jokic right
Yeah,
now.
right
I don't
now,
know if I'm a slave to the moment,
so
but
hot
of
in the
course.
streets.
Yeah, he makes his other teammates better. Jokic.
And he's just so funny how much he doesn't like basketball. You see the quotes yesterday? He's like, I don't think anybody likes it at job. Right? Maybe they do. They're lying.
Eventually, work is work.
He doesn't, he really doesn't seem like everybody else. I just love the game. It's all I want to do. Jokic's like, I play it because they pay me.
Ooh. From Who
My
Palmero, Ask the Bench, Andrew Lindsley or Chase Dolander on Saturday.
You got to go for the dub, right?
Lindsley's somebody, he's a 2.79 ERA. Dolander's a 4.50, but in 118 innings, struck out 86 batter. No, 118 strikeouts in 86 innings, I should say.
I guess I just assumed Dolander. I don't know, Hunt. How about you answer that question on your show? Because you're actually the baseball expert, which I'm sure you're going to later today.
I think they're going to go Dolander.
Ask the Bench. When sharing appetizers, do you divide up portions on individual plates or just dig straight in?
Divide it up.
Yeah, for sure. Divide it up on individual plates. Come
Yeah, that's what we do.
on.
Favorite Gulf Coast beach city?
I don't know where the Gulf Coast is.
Oh my God.
I don't have one though, really. I don't know.
I love BCB.
Destin.
Go to Agatemp, Baton Rouge. Take it to their comfort zone. AgatempBR.com.
OTB OT.
At Corvell Toyota in Opelousas, I'm happy to say we have vehicles in stock and more coming in at no markup. Don't pay over MSRP. Come on down to Corvell Toyota and choose your new Toyota today. That's Corvell Toyota in Opelousas, Happy Town, USA.
This summer, retirement is a state of mind. Whether it's a mid-morning activity or an early bird special, grab a Coors Light and chill like you're retired.
Turn my music high, 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 yeah.